Welcome back, everyone, to the Collegiate iRacing League. And tonight, we bring you round 4 of the College Cup Series live from the virtual Richmond International Raceway. Our first short track race of this College Cup Series season, the Richmond 150. Last week's race at Kansas had plenty of action from start to finish. Our third winner in 3 races, as well as reigniting some old rivalries and starting some new ones. So it's only appropriate that the College Cup Series goes short track racing tonight. I'm Zach Lindler, your host for tonight, alongside Alex Gagnon in the booth. And Alex, I am extremely excited to see what our drivers will do tonight when the sun goes down for our first short track race and our first night race of the season.
It's two of the best things you can get in one race here, Zach. Night racing, an entirely different element, an entirely different aesthetic, and then short track racing for the first time this season. There's a lot to look forward to here, and especially when you consider over the past 3 weeks between Daytona Auto Club and Kansas, there's been a lot of, dare I say, some rivalries brewing across the CiL here, and then taking all of that and bringing them to a short track like Richmond. There's going to be some contact, there's going to be a little beating and banging, and there's definitely going to be some thoughts after this one's all said and done. If someone thought they weren't raced quite the right way. But when there's going to be close to 40 cars on a 3/4 of a mile track, it's bound to happen.
Yeah, definitely so. Wrecks, incidents, bump and runs, self-spins are definitely not out of the question for any of our drivers tonight, as I believe a lot of them were struggling to find grip in the pre-race practice session. About an hour and 20 minutes the drivers have before each race to get used to the track conditions, and you saw the weather on your screen right there. Relatively warm out there this evening as we look at the number 62 machine. It's James Madison University's Matt Stowecki putting in his qualifying laps right now. Each driver has 3 laps to set the fastest time they can by themselves out on track, and then the drivers will be gridded in order of their fastest time. We give our drivers 3 laps here in the CiL instead of the NASCAR standard 2 because we like to give them that extra little lap to get the tires nice and warmed up and to truly go as fast as they can to put on their best show and performance for the league tonight. So I think as we're seeing a couple of these results coming in right now on pole, Thomas Toomey making his return to the College Cup Series after about a season and a half away from the series. That driver out of the University of Virginia, the Cavalier, right now on top, 22.008, the time to beat, followed by Connor Levy in the number 14 out of Arizona State University, 22.048. Clint Halterman, provisional P3 right now in the 07, 22.061. So very, very close times we're seeing out of these drivers right now. And I'm actually seeing a tie right now for 5th place, 22.099. That's Garrett Vighton out of Arizona State, and Robbie Vrabel Jr., the alumni from St. Clair College, and also our winner from Auto Club, tied right now for the 5th position, but that is going to go the way of Garrett Vighton because he set his lap first. That's the, I believe they call that the Villeneuve clause.
Well, I won't say. I'm sure a lot of people do that. I, for one, did not. So, but that being said, looking at it with Thomas Toomey on pole, he's trying to do what's been the early trend of the season here, Zach, which has been an alumni coming back after some away. And Sandy Therese did it last week in Kansas. We'll see if Toomey has what it takes coming off what will likely be pole position to do it and make it 3 alumni in their return to win, which has been quite the crazy trend to start the season.
Yeah, if Toomey were to pull it off tonight, this sure would be one of the trends, one of the greatest trends of all time here in the CiL. That's something that I never would have seen before. Is there you see our Muhammad Alif out of Ball State University goes up into the P7 position, 22.12. So just over about a 1/10 of a second off of the pole position right there, but still one more lap, I believe, for the number 12 machine. Let's see what he sets in this time. Will he improve? Doesn't look like it.
Yeah, still hanging around P7 there. Is now we're taking a look at Therese. Last week's winner at Kansas was one of those cars in the field. Was able to convert that on a late race restart to picking up the victory, looking for win number 2 on the season, and will be 2 in a row should he get it done. Trying to find him in the qualifying order. I can't actually see it. Where is he? 22nd there, so starting in the back of the field.
Yeah, Santi Tierra not really having a good time out on track right there, but I believe that was his first time lap that he set right there, so we're going to see if he improves this time by. Looking for a big jump in the field this time by. Yes! Huge jump. He will take pole position. Our only 21-second time of the night here in qualifying. 21.914, just over about a 3/4 of a tenth clear of the 166 of Toomey. So a great time right there from Santi Tierra, as I believe are only 2 drivers that have yet to set a lap. The number 1 of Jared Kaler, your reigning series champion. Esteban Munoz in the number 9 machine from Florida International University that you saw right there. Wasn't quite happy with the lap that he set there, so he's going to reset and take another swing. So these 2 drivers, you're only putting up 22 seconds a lap, so still plenty of time for these drivers to make that lap count. As we're going to see, I believe we're riding along with Esteban Munoz right here, taking that high side, going to try and make that distance as great as he can coming to the stripe for the first time. Really get some heat in those tires and carry that momentum down the front straightaway hard onto the brakes into turn 1. And this exit to turn 2 is really crucial. Look at how that wall comes right at you out of turn 2. Got to be really careful to put the power down, but also not too much power, and spin and get on the wall through 3 and 4. Open it up on the front straightaway. We're going to see where he sets his first time.
Not in the top 10, but higher than the back 8, or 12th as it currently stands through lap 1. Not a bad starting place at all. I mean, only a couple hundred off.
Yeah, here comes his second time lap. We're gonna see if he can improve this time by, and he will improve to P10 that time. So he will start inside the top 10 provisionally. Let's look and see where Jared Kaler wound up. Kaler right now P32. So a lot of room to improve right there for our current College Cup Series champion, as he's mounting his title defense. Still has yet to find victory lane this year. He will improve on that lap, entering his 3rd time lap right here up to P16. Let's see if he can steal a position in the top 10 this time around, maybe even the top 5 through 3 and 4. One last time in qualifying for Kaler across the stripe, and that's going to land him P15. So not the qualifying session I believe Kaler hoped for right there. A lot of work to do right there. But I believe that has been one of the big storylines of the season is Jared Kaler has yet to find victory lane. He has been such a dominant force here in the CIL for season upon season. Was finally challenged last season by St. Clair College and Zachary DeWale. And Kaler he's got, I believe, 2 podiums to his name this season, so still good results, but still has not been able to find the top spot. Will that change tonight?
Yeah, I mean, he's been trending upwards. He finished 3rd at Auto Club 2 weeks ago and then 2nd last week in Kansas. So if that trend were to continue, he would land on the top spot of the podium here with a win tonight. Although starting back in 15th is going to make it a little tricky, especially there's not a whole lot of room at Richmond when everyone's all bottled up like that. So definitely going to have to be careful and really pick his moments to work his way up through the field to some of those guys who qualified a little higher up.
I believe qualifying is just about done here. Yeah, you can see 20 seconds left on the clock. I'm seeing everybody is done with their laps. So I believe these provisional results are going to be final here from qualifying, but we're going to wait for the official word from race control once time expires here. But given these provisional results, Alex, let's go ahead and make some picks. Who do you have winning the race tonight?
Personally, I'm a sucker for trends, so I kind of want to see Toomey pick up the win and make it 3 straight alumni winning in their return. Qualified 2nd, so clearly he's got a bit of pace, but as far as people we've actually seen on track with a lot of speed, I'm going to dig back to someone who had a really, really strong effort at Kansas last week, and I think that was the guy who qualified 6th there, Garrett Patton out of Arizona State. I mean, he had an absolute rocket ship attached to him. So I think he could be one to keep an eye on, but also either guy in that front row could be a pretty pretty good choice to make as well.
I believe my pick for this race is going to be that 075 machine starting 7th, Robbie Vrabel Jr. Robbie is an absolute legend at short tracks here in the CIL. He's historically done very well at them. He races a lot of super late models on iRacing. I know that he's got a ton of experience behind the wheel on short tracks, and I believe that experience is going to shine through for Vrabel tonight, and he will take home the checker flag and become our first multi-race winner this season. So you can see the field stacked up right there. Alex, why don't you take us through the first half of our starting grid?
You bet. So on pole, it is going to be Santiago Terez, UNC Charlotte's one of their many cars in the field today. He'll be rolling off on pole alongside Thomas Toomey making his return out of the University of Virginia. Connor Levy rolling off third for Arizona State alongside Clinton Halterman from UNC Charlotte. The third row is going to be Andrew Williams, the number 23 car out of Clemson University, alongside Garrett Patton out of Arizona State in that number 42 machine. Robbie Vrabel Jr. rolls off 7th for St. Clair College alongside R. Muhammad Ali in 8th out of Ball State University. Current point leader Jason Wallet from Drexel University currently rolls off 9th alongside Esteban Munoz out of FIU. That'll round out the top 10. Brandon Schulenberger from Wingate starting 11th. Alongside Rhett Crane from Ball State, he'll be starting in the 12th position. Matthew Nordberg from NC State rolls off 13th. To his outside, it is Tim Robb out of American University. And in 15th, as mentioned earlier, it is Jared Taylor, the reigning series champion out of UNC Charlotte. Dustin Buck from Waldorf University will roll off 16th in that number 68 machine. Austin DeLong, 17th from the Penn College of Technology. Edwin Onofre from North Texas rolls off 18th. And in row 10, it is Zach DeWale out of St. Clair College, alongside Andrew McCall from Purdue.
Starting 21st, your reigning Alumni Series champion, Jeremy Millerin from Purdue. Matt Stowecki, James Madison University, will roll off 22nd. Andrew Burrell, Clemson University, another alumni driver, will take the 23rd position to the grid here. Athena LeClaire from St. Clair College, a little low on the grid for her starting this race, but she will have a teammate right behind her. And Alexander Hogarth, another Canadian in that 20 machine, starting 25th. Colin Copo will start 26th from Indiana University. Nick Stockner, another Clemson University driver, starts 27th. Michael Sidor from Penn Tech, one of the many in the field, will start 28th. Jake Cummings from Wingate starts 29th. Jacob Wiest from UNC Charlotte will start 30th. Ryan Wilson from Minnesota State Manikato will start 31st. Treston Yoder in the Cal car. We love the Cal car. Will start 32nd from Robert Morris University. Matt Burton, East Tennessee State, 33rd. Bradley Daniels, Robert Morris University, starts 34th. Ethan Head from the University of Tennessee at Knoxville will start 35th. And Dylan Godinez from Penn Tech will roll off 36th. And I believe that will round out the field for tonight's Richmond 150. You can see the field side by side for the first time, coming through 3 and 4 under pace car. For the final time, pace car takes the left. Drivers in the restart zone. Barney hits the green flag, and a couple of incidents right there to start off with. Who was that in the second row that did not get a good start? But we are green flag racing here at Richmond.
And that was Clinton Halterman in the 07. Got a little sideways trying to hit the gas, a little too much throttle. The back wheels tried outrunning the front. He was able to keep it forward, but definitely checked up that outside lane.
Yeah, it looks like he might have spun the tires right there on the restart. Didn't get enough heat in him, as he's going to potentially lose out on that 4th position here as we complete lap 1 of this 200-lap race. 150 miles separate the drivers from start to finish tonight, as we see Drew Williams underneath Halterman right now, going to make a move on that 07, and a little move right there by the... Oh, my goodness! That was a dive bomb and a half. We're going to have to check and see what happened there, but the 23 of Williams sent into the wall early, and we have our first caution. We're going to have to take a look and see what happened right there, but that was, I think that was a bit of an egregious send from a driver behind, getting aggressive in these early laps of this race.
Yeah, it looked like it was the 42, I believe, of Garrett Baton. We'll have to check the replay, but I think it was him getting a little too hot in turn 3 there. He makes contact with the car ahead, and it goes up into Andrew Williams. Obviously, we'll know when we're able to see the replay, but certainly not how you want to start the race, especially if you're up in front. Let's take a look here. looking at the perspective, I believe we'll focus on Andrew Williams, who was the car who ends up in the wall at the end of this year. I want to say it's the 42 of Vuitton who gets into the back of the 075 of Robbie Vrabel.
Yeah, the 42 tried to move down right there, made contact with the 075 of Vrabel, and Vrabel with the shunt couldn't get it slowed down in time for the momentum coming from behind and just went right through the 23 and sent the 23 up into the wall, and the 42 got a piece of the wall right there. And the rest of the field lucky to get by unscathed. You can see some of the cars at the back of the field kind of splitting the uprights right there. We're going to take another look at this incident here. But an early caution to start this race, and a couple of really, really good cars involved. The 42, the 075, and the 23 all involved. We're going to take a look at this onboard from Williams right now. Here you see heavy braking into turn 3. You can see the 075 just not getting it slowed down in time, maybe with a little help. And nothing the 23 could do right there. He was along for the ride and just thankful that he didn't collect anybody else in the field.
Yeah, honestly, with where that was positionally, it's kind of a shocker it didn't collect more people. I mean, I guess everyone kind of was able to get down in time as they slid up the track, but certainly fortunate for a lot of those guys running in the, say, the 10th through 20th spot. They had enough room and enough time to get down and not get caught up in that, because that was some contact between a couple of the cars running up near the front of the field.
And our live race control has deemed the 42 at fault, so the 42 will be sent to the rear of the field for this restart. Here at the CIL, we do have live race control who will manually review every caution, every incident on track, and issue rulings accordingly, as we're going to get a look now from, I believe this is the 12 of R. Muhammad Alif, who was at the time running in the 8th position, but got a couple bonus positions right there because of that incident. But you can see he had a great view of that incident right there, as I believe we have gotten the 1 to go signal, so we're stacking the field up here 2 by 2. And there you see last parade lap before we go green again, field side by side through turns 3 and 4 one more time before taking the green. Hopefully we'll get some good racing in. This time incident-free. Pace car makes that hard left on the pit road. Barney throws the green, and we're back to racing here at Richmond.
One of the things I noticed on that restart was something I noticed a lot last week as well, is how smooth Santiago Perez can be on those restarts when he gets to start up front, and was able to just immediately pull away from the rest of the field. Now everyone else is in pursuit, as right now Halterman's door-to-door with Levy from third, R. Muhammad Alif directly behind. They are 2 by 2 diving into turn 1. Now make it 3 wide. Are they going to have enough room to sort this out as they come off the corner? Only inches between them. A little bit of contact there between Levy and Clint Halterman as they continue their battle into 3 and 4.
That was a very aggressive move right there from R. Muhammad Alif out of Ball State. Went around the outside of both of those cars in turns 1 and 2 and was able to get a twofer that time by through turns 1 and 2. But these two behind him, Connor, Levy, and Halterman, still side by side for that position as we have another caution come out at the back of the field. We're going to see what happened here. I think that was the 521 of Bradley Daniels. We saw backwards right there for a second.
Yeah, we'll have to check the replay. It wasn't on the live feed when we got there initially. But there is certainly someone around. Yellow is out. And there we go. Let's take a look. Coming into the corner here. And still waiting to see what it might have been.
Oh, man.
Daniels goes for a ride. The initial contact is between Yoder and Miller, and somewhere there in number 1. Oh, and Dustin Buck right into the back of it. That's going to hurt.
And I think I saw 4 wide right there was the attempt into turn 1 and phasing through the pace car right there. I can't say I've seen that before. But, yeah, it looked like 4 wide right there. And, of course, short track racing, that just doesn't work. Dustin Buck here going to get a nice view of this incident. You can see right there the left side of his windshield, the contact, and head on into the wall, the 521 right there. And Buck, just couldn't get it slowed down in time.
Yeah, that's
involved in that
going to leave a
incident.
mark. But yeah, I wonder. The toughest thing to tell there was how the contact initiated between Millerin and Yoder. They were both diving into the corner, and then it looked like there was a bit of contact, and I can't tell if Yoder got up and either neck-coated Daniels or if there was contact made. But either way, a tough break, especially since Yoder and Daniels are teammates.
Race Control has declared that this incident was caused by netcode. And for those of you who are not familiar with what netcode is, iRacing tries to predict the location of every car on track as best it can, but sometimes when somebody has a slow connection, iRacing will think your car is where it actually isn't, and then it thinks your cars make contact and will calculate your trajectory as so. So unfortunate there for both of those cars. Looked like some really good, hard, tight racing right there between those two, but iRacing said, no, I'm going to wreck one of you. So unfortunate for all those cars involved, especially the 521 who got the brunt end of that, and the 62 as well, caught up in that incident.
Yeah, nothing really to say that anyone really deserved the outcome there, but especially the 68 and the 521. They got dealt a really bad hand out of just a little bit of projection error out of iRacing there. But nature of the beast when you're sim racing, it can't be helped. And, you know, all things considered, they do a pretty good job, but occasionally it just isn't quite where you need it to be, especially in a track like this where everything is just a matter of inches.
And in motorsports, it literally is a game of inches. You want to be as close to the people around you as possible. Still want to leave the space, but you want to lock them down if you're defending, and you want to get as close to them as possible when you're trying to pass them. But yeah, it's just unfortunate right there. A little incident, but I don't believe anybody has been determined to be at fault yet. I think Race Control did mention that they were going to review this later on. So we'll see if anything comes of it post-race. But let's get back to the action right here. You can see the field getting the 1-to-go signal stacking up side by side right there. Santiago Tires retains the pole position. Thomas Toomey still in second place right there. Amr Hamid Alif with that incredible move a few laps ago to go around the outside of Halterman and Levy to take away that third position. And then Halterman and Levy taking P4, P5 for this restart. Robbie Vrabel Jr. in sixth. Esteban Munoz has worked his way up to seventh. Jason Wallet, your Daytona 250 champion, in eighth. Will round out your top 8 for this restart. Pace car makes the hard left. Leaders in the restart zone. Barney throws the green, and we are back to racing here at Richmond. Great shot right here from the top of the tower. You can see just how close all of these cars are. Racing for every position they can find here out of this restart. Very, very hard racing right here up front. You can see the 6 of Rhett Crane from Ball State get a little kiss of the wall right there for Valentine's Day. Running to the outside of, I believe that was Robbie Vrabel Jr. from St. Clair. No, that was Esteban Munoz that he was running to the outside of right there. Munoz does walk away with that position, and now Crane falls into the clutches of Tim Robb from American University, making the move down low, followed closely by, there he is, Jared Kaler, making his march up the field as we have a car into the barriers at the start of pit road. I think that's the 20 of Alexander Gagnon out of St. Clair
That
College.
wouldn't be me. I'm sitting right here next to you, buddy.
Sorry, no. Alex Hogarth. There's too many A names. I'm sorry.
There's a lot. I mean, when you factor in some of the folks in the other series, the stewards, and then I know we also had Alex Light in this series. There's at least like 4 or 5 Alexes rolling about the CIL, so I don't blame you. As the caution appears to be out once again, this time looks like the 46 of Michael Seidor's around. Let's see what happened to him. Oh, that looked like it might have just been a bit of self-spin there, unless someone got into the back of him. But that initial shot didn't look like there was much of anyone.
Yeah, that's the thing about these next-gen cars. They have a lot of power, especially on these short tracks. So if you apply just a bit too much throttle, you're going to go for a spin off the corner. And especially in turn 2, it's that corner goes very flat very quickly, and the wall comes at you so fast as well. So maybe a little reaction out of the 46 Plus, a little too much throttle is going to send you right into the inside wall, like we see right there. He almost kept it straight, but you can see those back wheels still spinning, and then the car loops around, and that is what brings out our third caution of the night already.
Yeah, and that's one of the challenges on these short tracks. You got to really be careful to manage the you have. Even though this current next-gen car has a slightly lower horsepower than the short track package on the old Gen 6 cars, 670 horsepower is still a lot to manage when you're going from such low speeds to put on that much throttle in such a hurry. And it's real easy if you're not careful just to have that thing whip around on you. That's exactly what happened to the side door there. And certainly an unfortunate break, but that will probably send him to the back for the one causing the incident for the self-spin.
And now comes the point where some of these drivers might be thinking about tires, and I know you're probably thinking I'm crazy. We're only, 20-something laps? We're 20 laps into this race and already thinking about tires. Well, here in my crew chief's notebook, I've got a general rule of thumb that if you've been through 3 restarts, starts or restarts, then it's probably a good time to start thinking about your tire wear, especially at this old abrasive surface here at Richmond. It chews up the tires, so as you're putting the power down, going through the gears, especially if you spin the tires on the restart like we saw Halterman do at the start of the race, that's going to burn a lot of rubber. So we might be seeing some green flag pit stops here if we get a green flag run, maybe a little bit earlier than planned here. I believe the tire window here, I've got it written down, is anywhere from 60 to 80 laps here at Richmond. So some of these drivers could technically, if you're brave, you could one-stop this race if it goes green for the rest of the way here, but I think we'll see a lot of drivers on a 2-stop strategy, maybe even 3, depending on how cautions play out for the rest of the race.
Yeah, certainly possible. It might still be a smidge early, given that this is a 200-lap event, but I'm sure it's on the minds of a lot of people right about now about when it is going to happen, especially if the race continues in this fashion, a very rocky sort of start and stop sort of event. They might have to think about doing it sooner rather than later. As we were taking a look there at the 124, there seemed to be a bit of damage there, Zach, on that left side. I wonder if someone was leaning on him a little bit during one of these short green flag runs.
I would not be surprised if somebody was using that rear bumper and side panel of the 124. That's just how you race these short tracks. A lot of rubbing is racing here. But I see some pretty significant damage on that left rear quarter panel of Stockner and that door panel, as well as I believe we're going to get the 1-to-go signal right here. Nick Stockner, of course, famous in the CiL for his moonshot last season. I believe he stayed out on fresh tires over 100 laps in the race to assume the lead for a little bit, and then eventually had to come down pit road because he fell off the pace so much. But a very famous move, and one that I don't think anybody will be trying to replicate anytime soon, so that's going to cement his legacy here at Richmond. The very famous incident that a lot of people were talking about coming into the race this week. But once again, the field 2 by 2 coming to the green flag for this 4th restart of the race. No changes inside the top 5 here. We're going to get a great shot of Robbie Vrabel Jr. Leaders in the restart zone. Green flag in the air. We are racing again at Richmond.
The 2 by 2, they march through the opening corners right behind Santi Therese. Just an absolute swarm of people making their way down the backstretch. The front 3 seem to have figured themselves out for the moment, and Therese, Fumi, and then Muhammad Ali. 4th place is where the first battle's at right now. Side by side, it's Clint Halterman on the outside, Robbie Vrabel on the inside, with Wallet and Levy looking to capitalize behind. Right now, Halterman's got the edge. He might be able to clear him here. He does, and he will hold on to 4th for the moment as Wallet now makes a charge to the outside, trying to get by Vrabel, seeing that seemed to have worked for Clint Halterman. Kind of running out of room up top, though, so he's going to have to settle in for the moment behind Vrabel, but not enough room for him to get back into line. And this is currently the battle for the 5th position.
Yep, Daytona 250 champ Jason Wallet from Drexel trying to crack his way into the top 10, and I think we have a spin on the back straightaway. Car on the inside wall, looks like they're going to keep it going. That's the 7 of Schulenberger out of out of Wingate University. Went for a little spin on the back stretch, tapped the inside wall, is able to keep it going, thankfully, and we stay green here. But Great battles up there inside the top 10 for those positions. Might see if we can get a replay and see here what happened to that number 7 machine.
He either got loose the way Sidor did, or he may have gotten a little bit of help the way Williams and Vrabel did on the first caution. Those are really the two ways you can kind of end up in the scenario that Schulenberger ended up there. He did good job to really keep it off the wall and keep it forward. So kudos to him to keep this thing in one piece, because that could have been probably catastrophic if that had gone a little bit differently.
Going to make a move.
A host of possessions.
Yeah, fell way back in the field, is now battling with the 55 of Caden Kimball from Ball State University, who tags the wall right there, loses a ton of momentum down the front straightaway. This is the battle for the 34th position, as Schulenberger will walk away with that. Now going to go to work on the back bumper, the 888. That's Andrew Burrell from Clemson University. Going to make easy work of him going down to the inside, and now Schulenberger will set his sights on that 46 machine of Michael Sidor up ahead. Going to try and climb through the field as we have another caution right now. Jacob Wiest has gone for a spin. I believe that is in turns 1 and 2.
That 600 machine out of UNC Charlotte trying to catch back up to the rear of the field. That's not where he was at a moment ago, so definitely one of the cars involved. Let's take a look here. He's starting to cut the 09 as he makes his way through the corner.
It's way up close to the wall down the front straightaway here, and makes contact with the 8 of Ethan Head right there, UT Knoxville. And that sends the 600 straight into the retaining wall in turn 1, right into that safer barrier. And that was the same thing that we saw with the 521 of Patinella, or Daniels, excuse me.
That is, I actually believe that might be Daniels' spotter.
I think it is Daniels.
But yeah, no, definitely a bit of contact with the 8 and the 600. I guess you could say their paths there came to a head as Wiest ends up in the wall.
And the car 8 has been given an end-of-line penalty and assessed fault for that incident.
Yeah, I mean, not a tough one there for the stewards to make. I mean, Wiest was basically up at the wall. He was still in that outside lane for the most part and still got tapped on the corner. So, an unfortunate break, but, you know, it's kind of the nature of the beast there on these short tracks, but definitely not the way he drew it up. But definitely a busy opening 20-30 laps or so here between the starts. You scramble for a few positions on the restart, and then someone will tag somebody, and then you gotta kind of regroup and try again. The old adage of cautions breeding cautions holding true here to start this Richmond 150.
We've seen a few really, really good drivers getting involved in incidents. We saw Bradley Daniels earlier. That time it was Jacob Wiest. We saw Andrew Williams involved earlier. But the good news is all of those drivers are still in the race. Here at the here in the College Cup Series, we give all of our drivers one fast repair for each race. And if you're not familiar with what that is, basically if a driver is involved in an incident at any point in the race and they have a fast repair remaining, they can come down pit road, stop in their pit box, check that fast repair box in their user interface, and the game will give them a brand new car to go back out on track like nothing ever happened to it. So I believe all three of those drivers have used their fast repair, which does act as a bit of a safety net in case you cause an incident or you are caught in an incident. So those drivers got to be very careful. You can see the 23 of Williams running across the top of your ticker right there, running 20th. Bradley Daniels is currently scored in 39th place, 4 laps down. And I'm trying to look to see where Wiest is. He's 34th currently being scored. But I believe the drivers are going to get the one-to-go signal this time by, so we're going to stack up 2 by 2. No change on the front row. Tirez Toomey, the double T's leading the field right now. Muhammad Alif still holding on to that third position. Clint Halterman successfully defended 4th place from Jason Wallet, who cracks his way into the top 5 for the first time this race. Robbie Vrabel Jr. slips a couple down to 6th. Connor Levy running 7th right now. Tim Robb from American University will restart 8th. and Rhett Crane and Jared Kaler will round out your 5th row and the top 10 coming to this restart. So a lot of changes right there, not necessarily in the top 5. Well, yeah, the top 5 has had some positions traded, but a lot of places being traded at the bottom of the top 10 and beyond inside that early top 20. So pace car turns left once again on the pit road. Leaders in the restart zone. Barney throws the green, and we are back to racing here at Richmond. Once again, Santiago Tires with a great restart. And 3 wide into turn 1 right there. Looked like it between Alif, Vrabel, and the 07 of Halterman. And it looks like Halterman did the smart thing and backed out going into that corner, but Alif will defend, now take that 3rd position. He'll defend that 3rd position from the onslaught of those 2 drivers from behind as we have another caution.
Oh, that's a bummer, because we were just getting some really good action there between Alif, Vrabel, and Halterman. It looks like the 62 of Matt Stawecki's around. Not entirely sure what happened to him, but man, 3 wide into that into turn 1 there. Halterman, I'm sure, not thrilled to give up those positions, but in the essence of self-preservation, probably did them involved. Let's see if we can take a look here and see what happened to the 62 car of Matt Stawecki.
I believe this will be our 4th caution of the night. There you see the 62 of Stawecki. That James Madison car. Ooh, oh my gosh.
Oh, yikes.
Ouch.
Kind of got sideswiped there. As it looks like the 55 got a little loose going into turn 3, shot up the track and just wiped out the 62 car. Not much you can do there if you're Stawecki. You're kind of just doing your business. And then, yeah, so it looks like the 7 and the 55 had a bit of contact there going into 3. And then Caden Kimball, like a missile, just shoots up the track and collects the 62 in the process.
Yeah, if you're Stawecki, there's absolutely nothing you could have done right there. You were at the mercy of the guided missile of Caden Kimball from Ball State right there. But, yeah, you can see the 55 got a little help from the 7 going into the corner that time as those 2 made contact. It looks like just 2 drivers trying to go for the same real estate right there. And, of course, the laws of physics dictate that you can't do that. And you see the 55, man, just drills the 62 on his way up into the wall. As we're going to get a ride along here again from the 62. Hang on, people. This is going to hurt.
Oh, in real time, man. I'm wincing from here. I know these are virtual. I know everyone's okay. Man, the in-car cameras there always make you flinch up a little bit seeing that, because you know that even virtually stings a little bit.
Yeah, I definitely jumped.
Nope, didn't get any better the second time either.
Couple of cars coming down pit road right there. Obviously, you see the 62 right there going to get his fast repair and come back out on track. And I think I saw the number 99, the mean green UNT machine of Edwin Onofre coming down to pit road, maybe picking up some fresh tires right there. So already we're seeing some tire strategy here in tonight's race, going to make things interesting.
I'm really curious to see how that shakes out for Edwin, because I remember last race with some of the alternating tire strategies, I really wasn't a huge fan of it, and then those ended up being the guys who finished in the top 5. So I'm going to hold off on my initial judgments on the tire strategy so far, especially because we're so early in the race. But maybe Edwin's either done a little bit of math based off of how this race has started, or maybe he's saying, all right, everyone else has stayed out. It's been about 40 laps. Maybe it's time to mix it up, and if we get a little bit of a green flag run here, the opportunity to pick off a couple of cars.
Yeah, and if you're Edwin right here, you definitely want a long green flag run because you've got 40 lap newer tires than everybody else in the field except for save a few drivers who have been collected in incidents. So hopefully we'll have a green flag run right here, and I think a lot of drivers will be interested to see what the 99 machine can do with a long green flag run as well. So expect to see him shoot up through the field if we go green here, which hopefully we will next time by. The drivers have gotten the 1 to go signal on the back stretch under caution for the last time here during this cycle. Stacked up 2 by 2, still no change in the top 4 as the 075 of Vrabel was able to retain that 4th position coming to this restart. Pace car is off hard left on the pit road. Santi's in the restart box. Barney throws the green, and we are back to racing here at Richmond.
Perez once again showing why his restarts helped him win Kansas last week. 2 car lengths ahead of Toomey as they go down the backstretch. Alif and Vrabel all over the back of the 166 here, looking for a bit of room. Right now it's that 075 trying to make the move on our Muhammad Alif, who is the highest running driver in the student category right now, running in the 3rd position. But right now, Vrabel looking to his inside. Alif takes it away. Now Vrabel looking outside. Alif takes it away again. Really good lines from both drivers. Alif will retain the position for now as Vrabel continues to try and get a little closer to that yellow line to make the move. Back a little bit farther behind, it is Levy and Holtman battling for 6 as they try and chase down the car of Jason Wallet in that 76 car out of Drexel, your Daytona 250 winner. Tim Robb back there hanging around in the 8th position as well. Everything kind of single file up front for the moment. The leader's at least trying to settle it down and get a bit of an extended run in here unless an opportunity arises to pounce the car in front of them.
Single file right now in the top 10 and beyond, but still some hard racing going on kind of towards the middle of the pack as we get a look here. That is the 808 machine of Dylan Godinez out in front of the 31 of Burton from East Tennessee State University. This is a great battle right now. This is for the 24th position about halfway through the field. You can see a lot of drivers taking different lines right there. There's the 42 of Garrett Vighton underneath the 31 of Burton right now. Vighton trying to charge his way back up through the field after being involved in that lap 2 incident to bring out the first caution as they're going to resolve that single file. The 7 of Schulenberger going to get a little loose right there out of the corner, but he's able to correct it and keep it going down the back straightaway. And Alex, I believe you raced here last season.
I did,
you have plenty of experience here on this racetrack. So as you start getting settled into a rhythm, what sort of things are you looking for as this racetrack changes, as the sun goes down and we start going into the nighttime here?
Particularly with the temperature change, you got to really be careful that the line you're running is still the line you can run once the sun goes down, because the track temperature changes so quickly the moment that sun goes down over the horizon, where you're looking at maybe like over the course of big shake there from Edwin Onofre as he's trying to get by the 52 here, Spencer Brown. But to your point, Zach, the temperature of the track can drop as much as like 30 degrees over the course of like 20-some laps here the moment the sun goes down, which makes the way you drive this track very different. You got to be really careful to always have the tires cool off immensely. But it's also worth noting, I spent a good bit of that Season 5 race toward the back of the pack, because during the initial round of pit stops, I was speeding on pit road, so I got stuck a lap down for a good chunk of this race.
No speeding tickets.
Yeah, no, none of that. Just a lot of time stuck out on the lead lap. But either way, we're looking at a great battle here between Taylor and Tim Robb. Both cars have shown quite a bit of speed so far this season. Tim Robb, though, still looking for that first real full, complete race. He's been up front in a couple of these events here. He's hasn't quite sealed the deal with the podium finish so far this season. He's currently battling with Taylor inside the top 10 here. Rhett Crane kind of watching behind him. Taylor's got a nose on him here coming up the corner. They are side by side coming off of turn 4 as the 14 up ahead of Connor Levy gets a little bit loose, and they're going to try and chase him down as they go back into 1. 52 laps complete here in the Richmond 150.
Robb going to get a great run around the outside here. Jared Kaler, good run down the back straightaway. Can't quite get the move to stick here into turn 3 as Kaler's still on that low side. Great side-by-side racing here between these two. They've been side-by-side for about 3 or 4 laps now as Kaler's not going to get the run he wants down the front straightaway, and Tim Robb will walk away with that position. That was the battle for P8. As you saw, Rhett Crane and that number 6 machine right behind them from Ball State University, eyeing both of these drivers down, saying, yes, 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 stay side by side, because that's only going to slow you down and allow me to come in the mix as well. As you see just ahead of these two, the 14 of Connor Levy versus the 76 of Jason Wallet for the 6th position. So to have a chance to get up in the top 5 for both of those drivers side by side. Now the 14 Arizona State going to look underneath Drexel here, going to get better rotation through the center, but not as good of an exit as the 76 just barely clears the 14 down the front straightaway there. But the 14 is still knocking on the door here into turns 1 and 2, as now Kaler has pulled under the number 5 machine again. So 4 cars right here battling for this 6th position here on lap 55. Now 56 as the leaders cross the stripe.
Yeah, there's some good racing going inside the back half of the top 10 here, 2 by 2 as they march back into turn number 1. Kaler with the nose ahead of Tim Robb, but if he tries to clear him, he's not going to be able to slide up the track. That space right now is occupied by Jason Wallet, who's battling with Connor Levy. Right now, we are still taking a look here at this battle. Therese still has the lead at the moment over Thomas Toomey up ahead by about a second, and he started to check out a little bit. But he's also had to start dealing with some lap traffic, which could really slow him down and bring Toomey back to him.
You have 15 laps now green for these drivers, and I want to look back at Edwin Onofre, who's started, I believe, 34th or 35th as the last car on the lead lap that time. He is now in the 26th position, so he is chewing through the field right now on those very fresh tires. So I think a lot of drivers are going to take note of that, and if we get a caution here soon, or if we get a caution here, the next 10 laps or so, I think a lot of drivers are going to come down pit road. But at the moment, I think a lot of drivers are going to try and stay out. Maybe pit around that lap 70. I believe your window is going to open around lap 70, lap 80 for green flag pit stops.
That would certainly be an interesting way for this race to unfold after the amount of cautions they hold up front. If they have to come down for green flag stops in the middle of it, that could benefit a couple of the people who might have been caught up in some earlier stuff, as they would be able to stay out a little bit longer on some fresher tires or a little bit more fuel in the tank, considering that they had to come in earlier to repair something. But still taking a look here as the 99 of Onofre tries diving down onto the inside of that 600 of Jacob Reese, who's still kind of recovering.
Oh, trouble, back straightaway, Wallet's around.
Oh, and he was having a really good run going, too. He was up in the top 10. We'll have to see what happened. I'd imagine, though, it was with those cars he was battling at Nordberg, also around at the entrance to turn 3.
Caution is out here on lap 59 in the Richmond 150. Jason Wallet around, challenging for that top 5 position, and he is barely going to stay in front of the pace car right there, get it going. I think he'll be able to retain his lap, but we are most likely going to see pit stops this time. No, he will lose that lap. As you see all the leaders come down to pit road behind him, everybody's coming down pit road.
Yeah, it's going to be a busy place to be. Now about 60 laps in of prime time to get some new tires, some new fuel, and Caden Kimball seems to be sideways back there on the back end of the pit road. Hopefully not in the way of anyone trying to make their way down, as it looks like the 719 of Anthony Brown stayed out as well. Probably try and get a lap back, as he is currently scored 34th or 32nd, 1 lap down.
We're going to get a shot right here, the exit of pit road. You can see the race off of pit road. That's Andrew Burrell coming out, but he was repairing damage. Santi Tira is going to easily win the race off of pit road, but I believe Thomas Toomey lost out on the 2nd position.
Yeah, the Spencer Brown.
That was...
I think it was Spencer Brown, the 52.
We're going to have to check and see the timing lines as they come out this time by, but some great pit stops right there for some of these drivers. You definitely want to minimize mistakes on pit road. There's another big gainer right there. The number 6 of Rhett Crane is going to gain quite a few positions coming off of pit road that time, as the timing is going to reset as they cross the stripe. Tires first. Toomey did retain that 2nd position, actually, so I believe there was a lapped car that came out in front of him. Vrabel comes out 3rd. Halterman 4th. Alif 5th. Crane up, I believe, 4 positions on pit road up to P6, and Jared Kaler comes off 7th. Connor Levy 8th, Esteban Munoz 9th, Tim Robb will round out the top 10. So Robb able to continue his great momentum that he's had all race, but Thomas Toomey, lucks out right there, as we're going to get another look at this incident right here that involved the number 76.
Oh, and it was lap traffic. Caden Kimball was just trying to stay out of the way of everybody, and the current points leader here for the CiL's Collegiate Cup Series taken out by one of the cars in the back of the field. That is a very tough break for the 76 Jason Wald, who's putting together a really strong run. He'd gotten up to 5th. He was battling with Taylor and company, and then just ran out of real estate there off the most. Let's see how Nordberg gets affected in this as well. Does he just clip him? He just gets loose trying to avoid him. That's a tough break there for Nordberg as well. I mean, both drivers there, Nordberg and Wallet, not really deserving of the fate that befell them, but so is the case in racing a number of times. Is this on board here? Oh yeah, that's
hold up.
He was able to get the brakes on a good bit there, but not all the way, as he still made pretty sizable contact with that outside wall.
It looks like the 76 of Wallet was able to keep it relatively clean. He just went for a nice little spin down the backstretch, kept it off the wall, but the 076 of Matt Nordberg right there out of NC State, not as lucky. He took a pretty nice lick into the turn 3 wall, so I believe he will use his fast repair as well. But we are going to go back to green. As you see that beautiful iRacing sunset in the background. The lights are on here at Richmond, and when the lights turn on, we turn the heat up as well, as both of these, as all the field is stacked up 2 by 2. Tires in the restart zone. Barney throws the green, and we are back to racing here at Richmond.
And immediately the 12 car of R. Muhammad Alif makes the dive to the inside, trying to get by Clint Halterman in 4th. He saw his opportunities. Kaler with a big shake going down the back stretch. He's lucky to keep that thing forward. Is now Alif here battling with Halterman. Robbie Brable all over the back of Thomas Toomey for second as well.
I think the 075 gave the 166 a pretty nice shove right there on the entry to 3 and 4 that time, just letting them know, hey, I'm here. Whoa, big slide right there out of Rhett Crane.
The leaders on these cold tires, the sun's gone down, and that's it. The track temperature has cooled off, which is going to take a few extra laps to get these tires up to temperature. As the Esteban Munoz sideways in the corner, nearly wiping out a couple other cars, but it looks like he might have been the only car who got caught up in that one, at least as far as collateral damage. I'm not entirely sure how he got around in the first place, but the colder track temp definitely playing havoc with these drivers early, as it looked like everyone was going for a bit of a slip and slide ride here off that restart.
Yeah, and I think a slip and slide is the best way to describe the track right now based off of what we're seeing. 3 wide right there. The 02 tried sending it under the 9 to Zach DeWale, and it looks like they made contact. Esteban almost had that saved until I believe that was another St. Clair car made contact with him, ultimately finishing the job right there.
Who clipped him a little bit, but that's a tough break for Munoz. He's going into the corner like business as usual. All of a sudden, Tim Robb launches himself to the outside. DeWale launches himself to the inside, and Munoz went to being by himself to being 3 wide in the middle in a matter of seconds.
Yep, the 02 of DeWale just trying to get underneath the 9 right there. The 9 said no thank you, but 2 cars coming together right there. You can see the 9 going for a power slide right there through the middle of the corner. And I think the 61's going to make contact with him as he got it saved right there. And it's going to, that's just going to turn him up and thankfully out of the way of oncoming traffic. You can see all those cars on the low side. Able to get around the sideways 9 relatively easily, riding on board with the 9 right here. There you see the contact, the slide, the save, and nope.
Yeah, it was
into the outside wall, and I think he kept it out of the wall.
But if he did make contact, he may have just pissed it. It wasn't really all that heavy a contact. As looks like Stockner also lost it trying to get around that one. Luckily, kept it off the wall, kept it off all the other cars. So, no real damage done there, other than maybe a bit of hurt feelings and some lost positions. But the car stays as intact as it was before all that, both for the 9 and the 121.
And race control has deemed that a racing incident, no action there coming from the stewards up in the tower. So, yeah, and I would have to agree with that. I think that's exactly what we saw. It was 2 cars just hard racing for a position right there. Neither driver wanted to give up that bottom side. So, yeah, unfortunate for the 9, the 61, and the 02 as well, but also unfortunate for the 124. It looked like he was trying to get around it and maybe just hit the brakes at the wrong time as he was straddling the apron and the banked portion of the corner coming onto the front stretch, and that really upset the car. But good to see all those cars being able to keep themselves out of the wall, no damage. Like you said, aside from hurt feelings, everybody is able to continue going relatively unscathed.
Yeah, relatively is the key word. I mean, there's still probably going to be some work to be done as they find themselves in a much deeper hole than they were even a couple minutes ago. But one of the tales of this race so far has been the fact that 1-2, the way they qualified has been 1-2 the whole going so far. Santi Perez has been in control of this race since the drop of the green flag to start it. Thomas Toomey has very much been in second the rest of the way, and then from third on back has been where a lot of the battling has taken place. And we've seen a fair bit of good fights across the top 5, top 10, and through the back of the field. Just up at the front of the field, it is those two alumni, one from UNC Charlotte, one from the University of Virginia, who are very much in control of this race right now.
And there on the top left of your screen, you can see the running order of the schools right now, and I'm seeing a great diversity of schools in the top 20. UNC Charlotte with a couple cars up there. Virginia, the sole car in the field right now, Thomas Toomey running second. St. Clair College with more than a few cars. Ball State University with some cars up there as well. I see Purdue, Clemson, Penn Tech, Arizona State with 2 cars as well. Indiana University, Robert Morris, and Wingate. So a lot of really good powerhouse schools up here inside the top 20 as we approach this, I believe, the 7th restart of the race. Leaders once again side by side with the rest of the field. Santi in the restart zone. Barney throws the green, and we are back to racing at Richmond.
And I think I may have just commentator cursed Thomas Toomey there. He did not get a good launch off the line at all. Immediately dropping back into the field. He's already lost second. He's lost third. He might go back further. The St. Clair car was definitely going around toward the back of the field there. I don't know if he kept it forward or not, but he was really loose on the back.
No caution. We stay green here on lap 75 is some great battles right here inside the top 10. You can see the 166 of Toomey underneath R. Muhammad Ali from Ball State. Still too wide for all of these positions back here. That's third all the way back through 10th, I believe. There you can see Tim Robb on the very right-hand side of your screen. Zach the Whale, Jared Kaler, our 2 student championship title contenders side by side right there as we're going to have another caution. And I think I see the number 46 of Michael Sidor from Penn Tech around again.
Yeah, that's the second time that we've had to call Sidor's name caution here. The first one was unassisted. We'll see if this one had some help or not. We're also taking a look here at Spencer Brown, who checked up. We'll see if he had anything to do with this one or not. So we will take a look here. We're taking a look at Matt Stawicki. Not sure if he had anything to do with this one or not. Yeah, he checked up ahead of Sidor, but got some fender damage there from Dustin Buck as Sidor got sideways in the 3 and 4. Here we go. Michael Sidor. Almost the same thing as the Munoz one. You know, you try going into the corner, a guy goes outside. Oh, heavy contact there with Andrew Pearl. But yeah, no, Esteban Munoz had the same incident just a little while ago where a car goes outside of you and a car goes inside of you, kind of going through the corner and just didn't really have a place to go. As we're right on board with Andrew Pearl here, and this is not going to be pleasant.
Yeah, oh man.
Yeah, nope. That's
nowhere
pretty
to go.
heavy.
Nowhere to go right there for the Clemson driver. You can see his teammate Nick Stockner got it slowed down to the outside as well, almost collecting that incident. But heavy contact right there for the 888 machine. So I believe he will come down pit road and take that faster pair. Here's the onboard from Spencer Brown of UNC Charlotte as he approaches this site. Chaos all up in front of him trying to navigate this.
He did a good job, though, to get it slowed down, not collect anybody else, and not have anyone run to the back of him. But yeah, definitely from that perspective, you can see the chaos unfolding in front of him. I mean, that's tough in the moment to figure out where to go if you don't have time to get it slowed down, because there was cars dipping up and down, and it was pretty easy to run out of real estate.
So I want to talk about the situation that we're in right now, and I believe this is the first time that we've been in this situation this season. We have 2 hours allotted for each College Cup Series race. We are currently 49 minutes, make that 50 minutes into the session so far, and we are only 78 out of 200 laps in. So as of right now, we are on the very cusp of making the race distance in the allotted 2 hours. If that timer hits 2 hours and the race is not complete, the session will throw the white flag when the leader does not have enough time on the clock to complete that last lap. And the race distance may be shortened. So you got to be thinking some of these drivers might be worried, are we going to go the full distance or are we going to be doing a timed race here in the College Cup Series?
Yeah, and all of a sudden that really changes your perspective. It's almost like how I'm sure some of those drivers felt during the NASCAR Cup Series season of 2022 when Almirola won at New Hampshire. The darkness they knew was coming, and they said, all right, we'll keep an eye on it and let you know how many laps we can really fit in before it becomes called because of lack of visibility. Obviously here it's going to be more of the time crunch, but some of that similar feeling remains of like, are we actually going to hit the scheduled distance, or do I need to be conscious of the fact that this race could end, say, 10, 20, 30 laps sooner than expected if we hit that 2 hour mark ahead of time?
Yeah, so we can expect at about, here at Easter time, about 10 o'clock, 59 minutes and about 30 seconds, we'll expect that white flag to fly no matter what. So that is the absolute upper limit of where this race can go. So hopefully we'll get some good green flag racing in here. Still a lot of the field still racing despite the number of cautions and incidents that we've had. And we can thank those fast repairs for that a lot of these drivers are still out here throwing punches out in the field. But the field is stacked up once again. Pace car makes the hard left onto pit road. We got a change in the front row for this time, as now Robbie Vrabel Jr. will be alongside Santi Tires as we are back to racing here at Richmond going into turn 1.
And Vrabel with a pretty decent tight challenge Perez for the lead as Toomey is all over the back bumper of the lead for third. Vrabel now to the inside trying to make the move for the lead. This is the first real battle for the lead we've had all evening. Perez holds on to it for the moment, but that 075 out of St. Clair College is definitely hanging tight right now, trying to find his time to potentially make a move and be only the second car to lead this race so far, as Perez has led the previous 81 laps of this race.
Yeah, Tires has put on a dominant performance so far, leading every single lap, I believe, except for one. And it was the caution lap where all the leaders came down pit road. So a masterclass right now in short track racing coming from Santi Tires, the former eNASCAR Coca-Cola Series driver. But not for long, as Robbie Vrabel is hanging on that back bumper of the 117 machine. St. Clair sticking it to UNC Charlotte right now for that win, overall win. Actually for the alumni win as well. These are two alumni. The old guys up at the front of the field showing the students how it's done here at Richmond.
Yeah, and absolutely. And right now, these two are the previous two race winners. Vrabel won 2 weeks ago. Perez won last week. So right now, they're definitely carrying a lot of momentum into this one. They are battling right now for the lead. This is the closest anyone has stayed to the leader here, Perez, over the course of this race after a few laps in the green flag racing. As maybe we can take a look a little deeper into the field here, because there is battles happening from third on back. There's no doubt. It looks like Taylor's side by side.
We got a spin in turn 2.
The Pentec car is definitely sideways. That's Austin DeLong, the other Pentec car, sideways at the exit of turn 2. Gets it forward, but we'll have to see what happened there.
Pennsylvania College of Technology not having a good showing tonight. So if you're a Pentec fan, you're wondering what in the world is going on. Your drivers are getting caught in wrecks like crazy. Here you see the 22 racing the 23. That's Andrew Williams from Clemson University. And it looks like he just loses it a little bit going into the corner.
He was trying to stay side by side with Andrew Williams out of Clemson, and as he dove into the corner, the back end of the car just kicked out on him. He did a good job really to keep it from getting too much of any damage, but definitely a deflating feeling when you dive into the corner and all of a sudden you feel yourself sort of can openering sideways, as he kind of drifts through the entrance of turn 1 there. And then the correction here where this thing snaps back around could have been really devastating. But he does a really good job to get the power down, and only, I would say, moderate contact with the wall. There was definitely some, but it could have been a whole lot worse.
Yeah, great job mitigating the damage right there, literally, from Austin DeLong, a great driver that we see a lot of skill out of. Little lapse in judgment right there as he outbreaks himself into the corner, but does a great job keeping it relatively clean off the wall and minimizing the damage to that car. I believe he will still be able to keep that going, but he is going to come down pit road and get those fresh new Goodyear rubbers. Left a flat spot in some of those, locking it up, saving it from that spin.
I'm trying to see, we're taking a look at, okay, so the leaders did stay. I was wondering if the front three cars had pitted or not, and if the Leaf had cycled to the front, but he still runs in the 4th position. So
yeah,
as things are, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, the 22 was the only car to come down pit road that time by, and I believe the free pass, or the lucky dog this time, is going to go to the 52 of Spencer Brown. He will be able to put himself back 1 lap down instead of 2.
Yeah, there was a couple of cars toward the backfield lap down there, some by incidents that they were a part of, some by incidents that came and found them whether they liked it or not. But I think we still have over 30 cars on the lead lap here, all things considered.
Excuse me, sorry. The 52 is back on the lead lap now.
Okay.
Scoring pylon didn't update like it should.
So he's currently running in the 33rd position now, the last car on the lead lap. But I think now that we got a second here, it might be a good time to take another quick look here at our top 10 to see kind of where people are running at the moment, if we have an opportunity to do so. So right now it is Santiago Torres currently leading the pace and leading the field during our 9th caution of the evening. Robbie Rabel Jr. currently running in the 2nd position. Fell back a little bit in the opening laps, but just came back strong over the past, say, 20, 30 laps or so. Now finds himself running 2nd. Thomas Toomey, the guy who spent most of this race in 2nd, still hanging around in the final podium position, running P3 at the moment. Our Muhammad Alif, the highest running student currently out of Ball State, he is running in the 4th position. Jared Kaler up 10 spots from where he qualified. He started 15th. He's up to 5th. He's very slowly but very surely worked his way toward the front. Tim Robb, a car that always seems to be hovering around this top 5, top 10 area, currently runs 6th. He's out of American University. Rhett Crane, another driver with a pretty good surge to the front here so far. He's running 7th. Clinton Halterman out of UNC Charlotte running 8th. Connor Levy out of Arizona State 9th. And Zach DeWale out of St. Clair College, last season's runner-up in the championship standings, currently P10, as the lights are off on the pace car, and we are about to go green, Zach.
Once again, field stacked up 2 by 2 behind the pace car. 9th caution of the night about to come to an end. And you can see the different front row from what we've been used to seeing. Tirez, Vrabel, Toomey, Alif, your top 4. Tirez hits the restart zone. Barney throws the green, and we're back to racing here at Richmond.
They are 3-4 wide there through 1 and 2. That was getting really wide. A couple of cars up.
Oh!
Yellow flag is out.
And we're right back under caution. That was a huge incident.
Yeah, a number of cars got a piece of that one. I need to see the replay, though, to be honest with you. My screen kind of glitched a little bit right at the point of contact, so I couldn't actually tell what happened. What I do know, though, is that there was a couple of cars who got a bad end of the stick there.
Yeah, I saw, I think 5 wide at some point right there. That might have been after the contact. I saw 2 cars up in the wall. But we're going to check back with the replay booth and see what happened there. We're going to take a look at it right here, I believe. This might have been after the incident. Or this is the back of the field coming towards turn 1. I believe at this point the incident is already underway.
Yeah, it's right there at the exit to turn 2.
Oh, who is that?
Tina Leclerc goes for a ride. She got hit pretty hard by, I want to say that might have been.
I think that's the 521 of Daniels. I see the 808 involved. I see the 7.
Here we go. Now we're going to see the start here. Athena Leclerc dives into the corner, makes it 3 wide, and just can't make it stick, and just wipes out Jake Cummings.
Looks like she locked up that, she got really hard onto the brakes, outbraked herself there, locked up that left front, and Jake Cummings was right there to the outside. Nowhere to go right there for the number 7 machine of Schulenberger.
The 09 Dakota, very lucky not to get collected with that one as well. And Leclerc came down directly behind him.
Oh, wow, what a miss right there for Treston Yoder. The cow car lives.
Lap at least, but that 61 machine of Athena Leclerc went for a ride down the track, went back up the track. That was a rough go for a number of cars. We are on board here with Schulenberger And yeah, just nowhere to go there, especially with the 09 kind of coming up a little bit in turn 1. You couldn't cut down to get under Leclerc and then just ran to the back. And then the 808 of Godinez hits Leclerc. 55, Kimball hits Leclerc. I mean, just kind of pinballing back there and toward the back of the field. So the field will try and sort itself out here as we get trying to regroup. Every caution that happens, Zach, I think inches us a little bit closer to the possibility of a time end to this race as opposed to a lap end to this race.
I'm trying to do some math. Let's say if we're averaging, say about 23.3 seconds a lap, I believe is our average green flag race pace here. So, hold on, let me do some math. I'm not the brightest. So 16
math wasn't my strong suit necessarily either. I think that's why both of us are up here in the booth at the moment talking about it instead of doing the math for some of the teams down below.
If we go absolutely green from here on out, we should hit about 130 laps of green flag racing. So we can still finish this race without hitting the time limit, but we are teetering on the edge of this being a timed race instead of a distance race as we're working on lap 96, approaching the halfway point of this Richmond 150. And we are going to be cutting it close if we see another caution or two.
I think the durability of these next-gen cars are contributing to the amount of cautions here, because the field hasn't thinned out really at all. Between the one fast pair and the durability of these cars, I mean, basically everyone's still in this race at the moment.
Yeah, that's always great to see. Field stacked up again, 2x2. Santi with an early jump right there. Tierez takes the restart. Barney throws the green, and we are back to racing at Richmond.
I think Therese got tired of Rabel doing a really good job predicting when he was going to launch, so he launched the moment he could, and I think he caught Rabel sleeping just a little bit. The 075 still pretty tight on him, but definitely not as close as we've seen him on some of these restarts. As right now, Tim Robb to the outside of Jared Kaler back there in 5th, trying to sneak his way into the top 5. They are side by side as they go into 1. Toomey, the car directly in front of him, might come into play here as well if Robb gets run down the back. But Kaler, about half a car length ahead right now, trying to stay up ahead of him. Gets a nose ahead and might have to slide up here ahead of this 5 car. Able to do so. And the caution is out once again. Caution number 11. It looks like there's another big one. I see Zach the Whale was involved. Looks like Tristan Yoder was involved as well. We'll have to take a look at what happened, but a couple of cars in an incident off the edge of the turn 4.
Yeah, and I think I saw some big contact right there between the 02 of DeWale and the 09 of Tristan Yoder. We're going to take a look and see what happened here. That Zach DeWale racing Connor Levy right here in the 14. Oh, just barely clips him. Overcorrects into the 23. Huge contact right there from the Cal car of Tristan Yoder. That's the 018 of Andrew McCall. Catches a little bit of the wall trying to get around the 02 as well. Another big caution right there. Another big wreck to bring out a caution there at the back of the relative back of the field. We're going to take another look at it here and see just exactly what happened. DeWale underneath the 14 of Levy.
He drove it in there and then slid up the track. That's much like the last instance. So we're on board here with the 09 of Tristan Yoder. And you see he's trying to get that car slowed down and not come down into the rest of the racing line. Was unable to really do either and ends up collecting part of Zach DeWale in a pretty heavy impact. I'm sure that's going to cause a significant amount of damage to both of those cars. Also take a look here from the perspective of Jeremy Millerin, who you can see as DeWale kind of slides up right in front of us here. And then that car just snaps sideways to the outside.
Yeah, it almost looked like an overcorrect right there from DeWale. So a rare mistake that we see out of that St. Clair car, a runner-up last season in the student championship. But yeah, just an incident right there of 2 cars vying for position. Zach DeWale was trying to stay underneath for that position right there and just sent it a little too hard. and it ultimately resulted with him going into the wall and collecting a couple of other cars as well. But he will come down pit road for those repairs. You can see the 09 of Treston Yoder coming out of his pit stall right there. That car should be all fixed up and good to go once again Zach DeWale hits his pit stall for those repairs.
Yeah, I don't think either of those drivers had burned a fast repair just yet in this one, so they should probably be coming out here with a fresh set of wheels. But yeah, no, I mean, running theme of the day so far, Zach, has been it's just been tough to get separated when there's so many cars and so little room to race. And everyone wants to make that little bit of an extra move to get the position, because it's not super easy to pass here. And a lot of times that little extra bit of aggression has led to a bit of an incident here or there, and in the past couple cases, rather large.
I'm watching the race chat right here. All the drivers are dropping Fs in the chat. Oh, what a great community we built here at the CIL. The drivers are able to poke fun at each other and have fun out there on track despite this caution-filled race. I think everybody out there is still having a lot of fun, poking fun at each other, doing some great racing, a little banter going back and forth between the drivers, but great to see that everybody's still having a blast out there.
Yeah, I mean, when things have been going, it's been very entertaining. The only issue I've had with this race so far is it hasn't been going for very long stretches of time. It's been very choppy. But when there has been racing, I mean, it's been fast, it's been furious, and it's been very fun. Hopefully I don't get, like, copyright strike for saying it that way. I know they've got that new one coming out a little bit here. There's like 9 or 10 of those things now.
That'll be number 10 in the series.
Jeez.
Yeah.
You know, at some point that series was about the cars, and now it's like things flying out of airplanes and jumping off a cliff. It's wild. It's a great time. It's a great turn your brain off.
Can't wait to see which cars are going to be overpriced now. Anyway, green flag back in the air here at Richmond. Santi Tires gets a great restart, followed closely behind by Robbie Vrabel Jr. yet again as the field enters turn 1 for the first time.
Vrabel thought about going to the outside. Now maybe thinking about the switchback here, trying to get to Perez's inside. Elects against it, though. He'll fall back into the line as the caution out once again. Dylan Godinez, I see, slow outside the end of turn 2. The back of the field here.
I think I see the 56 of Ryan. I think I saw the 56 of Ryan Wilson right there going around in turn 2. He might have had some assistance right there. That Minnesota State Mankato machine going for a little slide. Oh, what happened here?
Godinez was already really slow to begin with. Wilson spins and then collects the 808. The 808, though, man, I don't know what was up there, but he looked like he was going 20, 30 miles an hour slower than everyone else in the corner.
He must have had problems right there. Yeah, you can see already just going into the corner. He's really, really slow. And the 56 goes low to avoid him, but catches that apron, and that is a no-no at this track, and slides back up. Look at this miss. Wow! 888 of Burrell. Clemson University just barely missing the front bumper of that 56. Could not have been more than an inch between those two cars right there. Great hands from the 888 right there.
We're on board with we're on board here with Godinez. He is and the cow car once again finding chaos in front of him.
Oh man, not the cow car.
Luckily though, it didn't look like the contact was too heavy, so hopefully he can continue his ride here today. But boy, anywhere back in the field here when everyone's kind of picking all these different lines, it's just been really tough to evaluate where's an actually safe place to be on the track.
And as of right now, I don't think there is anywhere safe on the track. We've seen incidents at the front, middle, and back.
Yeah, that especially. I mean, even like the past, you look at the last 2 or 3. I think it's been front, middle. So
front, middle, rear. Yeah.
Yeah. As it looks like the 09 is back on pit lane, so that damage must have been a little worse than expected. Maybe a toe link got kicked out.
Yeah, maybe some suspension damage right there for a couple cars, so that's not a very long fix, but they will be on pit road for at least the duration of the caution to fix that damage. As we now look.
That means a tough break here for both of the RMU drivers in the field. I know Brad Daniels was already a couple laps down from an earlier incident. So with Yoder also going to the pits, it's going to be a rough one. Currently scored 35th and 36th, those two. So, as a team effort, definitely not an ideal one for those folks. But if you are looking at team efforts that are going pretty well, the UNC Charlotte camp, I'm pretty sure is 3 cars in the top 10 right about now. I want to say it's Therese, Kaler, and Clint Halton, I believe, is still hanging around inside the top 10 as well.
Yep,
Yeah.
168, their running order right now. So great showing out of UNC Charlotte once again. And I'm looking to see if there's any other duplicate colleges inside. So Ball State has 2 cars inside the top 10 right now. Muhammad Alif, that number 12 machine, Rhett Crane, and the number 6. But I'm seeing, let's see, we've got UNC Charlotte leading, St. Clair second, UVA third, Ball State, American University, UNC Charlotte, Ball State, UNC Charlotte, Arizona State, and then Clemson University rounding out the top 10 there. So a lot of different schools inside the top 10 right now, and even looking further, a lot of schools inside the top 20 as well. Purdue, Arizona State with another car, FIU, Indiana University, Drexel. Jason Wallet, after being involved in that incident, has worked his way back up inside the top 20. He's currently running 16. And Penn Tech, Austin DeLong, still inside the top 20 as well. So once again, the pace car will turn left onto pit road. Once again, Santiago Tires, the control car, he will get in the restart zone, and Robbie Vrabel Jr. to the outside gets a great restart alongside him, and they're going to be side-by-side going into turn 1. We have not seen that yet tonight.
No, we have not. Vrabel looking maybe to do a switchback here. He was close enough for 1 and 2. He might have the opportunity to make the dive here in 3 and 4. Looks to the inside, doesn't quite get it to stick. Therese is able to pull ahead once again. Vrabel lost a lot of momentum there, as it looks like Toomey might be making the move here on his outside as well.
We have another caution.
Jeez, that's what number? I think it's unlucky number 13.
This is 13. Yeah, I believe.
What is the CiL record?
I was just thinking.
I want to say it's
I think it's 15. It was the North Wilkesboro race. That was seasons.
I want to say 4.
It was 4 or 5.
Yeah, because 5 would have been the summer season.
No, it was 4. It was 4. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah, that one I was a part of that one. I think one of those cautions. I think I hunted Esteban Munoz accidentally. Neither here nor there though. But yeah, that one was all 15, and we're even more than that as we're looking here at the number 52 of Spencer Brown. And just contact there with the 521. 52 was trying to come down the track as the 521 was trying to come up out of the corner, and contact made 52 around.
Yeah, just 2 cars racing for position right there and a little bit of contact. But yes, the CiL caution record is 15, and that was from North Wilkesboro. So we are on caution number, I've lost count, I think.
I want to say it's 13, I think.
13. Okay, we're going to go with that.
There was also a suggestion here, Zach. Someone else I saw back in the CiL Discord was suggesting that Darlington Season 6 was also pretty bad.
I think that one had 11 or 12 to my knowledge, but I was out of the booth for that one. So
gotcha. So that means we would have. That means we've surpassed Darlington, and now we're in soon to be new territory here as far as cautions are concerned. These guys still have plenty of time, I guess, to shred a little bit of sheet metal off these things. There's still, I want to say, about 45 minutes left in the before the session closes. With the way this is going, though, probably no shot this is going to go the full distance on laps.
I think we are extremely close on time right now. So we're on lap 114. If we go green, we will have 6 minutes remaining on the clock. So we have about 1 caution remaining before this becomes a timed race.
An M. Night Shyamalan twist there would be to have 13 cautions in the opening 114 laps and then have no cautions in the back 86, 85 to make it in under the timeline. That would be quite impressive. So it is still Therese and Robbie Vrabel up at the front. I wonder if you're Thomas Toomey right now, if you're a little frustrated that you haven't had the try and chase either one of these guys down since he got shuffled out on a restart a number of cautions ago. He keeps restarting right behind him, and anytime he gets remotely near him, the field has to rebunch up after a caution. So I'm sure he's looking to try and make a run at one of these two if he has the opportunity to do so.
Field stacked up 2 by 2. We've got the 1 to go signal here from caution number 13 here in the Richmond 150. And thinking back to what you said, yeah, if I was one of these cars up front, I would be a little peeved that the wrecks at the back of the field, the middle and the back of the field, have prevented me from really sticking it to these guys and racing for position. So hopefully we get a nice green flag run to finish out this race. Working on lap 115, coming to lap 116 of 200 as we're riding along with Connor Levy right here for this restart. You can see Santi Tires in the restart box. Barney waves the green, and we are racing once again at Richmond.
And they are 4 wide going into turn number 1. Clearly everyone's still just as impatient as they were before that caution there. Somehow everyone makes it out unscathed, and then they'll just settle it down to only 3 wide going into 3 and 4. Right now, though, we're taking a look here at Rhett Crane. He's trying to make a move here on Andrew Williams, running right outside. They're running for the 7th position at the stand. Now Wallet to the outside of Crane, trying to make Halterman and Millerin battling for 9th and 10th directly behind them.
Jason Wallet had the restart of a lifetime right there. He shot around the outside of probably 3 or 4 cars in turn 1, sticking it 4 wide. Everybody was able to make it work. But he jumped a ton of spots on that restart to break back inside the top 10.
Yeah, he's inside the top 10, and he's looking for more. He's trying to find his way around the outside of the 23. You'll get the better run down the straightaways running that outside line, but you're going to lose some time to get around through the corner. And that's part of the reason why Rhett Crane's still hanging to his inside right here. Wally gets a little bit of a run on the straightaways, and then Rhett Crane makes up a lot of time in the corners. He dives in there trying to make a move on that 76 car. He's got a nose ahead right now. Not enough to clear him, though, and he'll have to stay on the inside line as it stands as they dive back into 3 and 4. Rhett Crane almost slides up the track a little bit, but he's able to hold on to it. He will lose some momentum. He'll fall back behind the 76 and into the clutches of the 07 of Clint Halterman. Now Halterman looks to the inside of Rhett Crane trying to make a move.
Rhett Crane was all over the back bumper of the 76 right there. As we got a crash in turns 1 and 2, I see Ethan Head and Nick Stockner involved, as well as the 95 of Jake Cummings. But we saw great racing right there up in the top 10 as people were all over each other's bumpers vying for position. We're going to check back and see what caused this incident. Here we see Stockner in the 124, Ethan Head in the 8. Stockner sent it underneath the 8. Did he clip the inside wall right there, trying to get underneath him?
I think he did, which raises the question for both of those drivers of I'm not entirely sure where they were expecting to go. I mean, there was no more track there at that point. I mean, you're trying to get into the corner, and at that point, your angle is going to angle away as opposed to inside the corner. Unless Stockner had a run that he didn't know what to do with it, unless he came flying up on him. Oof, yeah,
Nice
the gap just closes up. Off of the 8, off the wall, back off the 8, and up into both Wingate cars. First Schulenberger and then Jake Cummings. That's a tough break for both Wingate guys in the matter of about half a second. But Jake Cummings definitely getting the worst of the 2 Wingate cars there. He got kind of pinned behind the 8 and the 124. All 3 of those cars in rough go as we're on board here with Jake Cummings, and nothing you can do about that. I mean, that just...
Yeah, nowhere to go. If you're Jake Cummings right there, you are a victim of circumstance. Always unfortunate to see collected in the incident, but it looked like the 8 almost didn't know that Stockner was down on the inside, or Stockner stuck his nose where maybe he shouldn't have. We're going to ride along with Ethan Head right here. Yeah, it looks like Head just kind of dove for the inside right there. That put Stockner bouncing off the inside wall, which took both of them out and ultimately collected a couple of other drivers. So just unfortunate incident right there. I believe Nick Stockner was assigned fault for that incident for avoidable contact and a late lunge.
Yeah, I mean, you don't get much later than in space. Collects the outside wall. Tough break for both of them. Definitely one that, for all parties involved, probably could have been It looks like there was another car sideways out there. Alexander Hogarth looked like he got caught up on the exit of turn 2 there. I don't know if that was an unrelated incident or what, but he looked like he was on the inside wall there on the backstretch as everyone was filing off turn 2 after stock ahead Cummins. So one of these overlays, I don't remember which one, but one of the overlays showed which caution this was. I think it was the little vertical time tower on the left-hand side of the screen. Yeah, that one. This is the 14th caution, which means we are one away from tying the CiL record set at North Wilkesboro back in Season 4. That was a few semesters ago at this point, as there is not a whole lot of time left here. Looks like 39 minutes.
Yep, we've got just over 39 minutes left on the clock here, lap 124 of 200. So I believe at this point this is going to be a timed race. Again, we can confirm that. Let me do some math. But we are going to be extremely close, if not.
Yeah, and that's also implying that they run fully green the rest of the way, the last 100 or the last 75 laps, which unlikely at this moment. I think I'd rather play a couple of scratch offs and have some better odds. A couple of St. Clair cars all kind of in one spot here, although the spot that they're in I don't think is the spot they want to be, with Hogarth, DeWale, and Athena Leclerc all kind of in the same general vicinity back there in the mid-20s. They do have teammate Robbie Rabel, though, still in second, still looking for his way around Santi Therese, but right now Therese on that inside line has just been the dominant restarter and has been using that to his advantage with the amount of restarts that they've had.
Pace car off once again. Therese gets a great jump from the restart zone right there. Green flag racing at Richmond once again. Vrabel did not get as good of a restart as last time, but Therese will retain the lead once again. He has led 125 out of 126 laps tonight.
Yeah, and the only one that he didn't lead was the one that was under a pit cycle back around the lap 60 mark. As right now we are on board with Robbie Vrabel, trying to see if he can make a move here as the
and another caution.
Caution has come on out here.
All right, come on, guys. We got to clean this up.
Yeah, really, ring the bell, folks. We have tied the CiL record, and we still have plenty of time to exceed it.
That was the 719 car that I saw turn around on the back straightaway. Tony Brown.
I think Queens College?
Queens University.
Yeah. Queens University, gotcha. Either way, you really hate to see it, especially because that battle that I'm sure Tony Brown's part of was toward the back of the field. I remember he was a lap down earlier in this event. So yeah, we see the 719 there. Let's see if we can tell what happened. So right there, he is very in the wall.
Not facing the right direction at all.
Now the 124 might. Oh, here we go. So he's on the outside here of the 8 of Ethan Head. And Tony Brown about 2 lanes up from the bottom. Head looks like he catches some of the apron there. Oh, and he just snaps back up, doesn't he? Yeah, a little bit of contact there after catching the apron. That is. Oof.
We talked earlier about touching that apron being a big no-no here at Richmond, and you see the results of that. Ethan Head getting a little bit of apron right there.
And I think the 521.
I need to see that as well. But you can see Ethan Head touch that apron and got a little bit loose and ultimately caused that incident there.
The 8 must have, I don't know if the 8 missed it by a matter of inches or what, but look at this. The 8 car comes right back across the nose here, the 521.
Whoa! What a miss.
Man, that you pucker up with something like that, that's for sure.
I believe we call that a code brown. Bradley Daniels going to need a new fire suit after that one. Look at that. Look at the handwork. Going to keep it straight. He kept it straight and just braked right through it. And the 8 cut across his nose, and he did not hit anything. Wow. What luck and skill. You need both for that.
Yeah, really. He hasn't had the best luck so far tonight, but talent definitely on display there to avoid all of that as chaos unfolds around him, both ahead, behind, and to the side of him. But you know, it's the little thing sometimes when you're watching a wreck for like 30 seconds. You know, the 15th caution of the day. As we're on board here with Matthew Nordberg, let's see what happens here with the 076, and he runs out of real estate. He was able to get by the 52, and then the 8 car comes back down in front of him, and just nowhere to go.
Yeah, unfortunate there. If you're Matt Nordberg and NC State, I believe Nick Stockner involved in that incident as well. He hasn't been able to keep it out of the incidents here recently. He had a great run kind of towards the beginning of the race, battling up inside that top 10. Looks like Stockner actually doing the smart thing and locking it down, able to keep it off the wall. He noticed he didn't have anybody behind him, so he just slammed on the brakes and hoped for the best, and that kept his nose clean, literally. And he was able to continue through that incident.
Well, 69 laps to go, although at this point it is definitely a time race, so more importantly about 32 minutes to go here in this event as far as the timer is concerned. We will be taking the white flag around 10:59 this evening because there is, I believe now, mathematically no chance they hit the scheduled distance.
That is correct. We will not finish this race tonight. This is a timed race, so the drivers are racing until 10:59 and in about 30 seconds, give or take, here Eastern Time, when the leaders will take the white flag when they do not have enough time left on the clock to complete another full lap. They'll take the checkered when they don't have enough time to complete another full lap. So this is going to change these drivers' strategies a lot. As they realize that this race will not go the full distance. But
at the field, rate we're going here. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. At the rate we're going, this might be a shorter race than anticipated. It will be. But the field stacked up 2x2. Pace car off. Tires gets a good restart right there, coming across the stripe, and we are back racing here at Richmond. And it looks like everybody got a great restart that time by the field 2x2, side by side, going into turn 1. And I think
Vrabel on the outside.
Vrabel got a little whiff of the lead right there through the center of turns 1 and 2. He's going to get the lead.
He still got it.
He still got it coming out of turn 4. And now Santi Tires under pressure for the first time this entire event from Robbie Vrabel Jr. Tires going to secure that inside line, the preferred line through turns 1 and 2. We're going to see how this shakes out as they approach turn 3. This time by still side by side.
He has a nose in the corner in 3 and 4. He has the run down the front stretch. He just loses it in 1 and 2 because Therese has the preferred line on that side of the track. As right now, it looks like Vrabel might have to lose out here as Therese slides up trying to take away the spot. And finally, Therese looks like he's going to re-wrangle control the lead here, but definitely a tight moment there for Therese as Vrabel's still not going away. He's still on the corner. He's looking for that lead. This is the closest anyone's been tonight. Including the fact that Vrabel did lead one of those laps here right off the restart.
Yeah, Vrabel had an incredible restart, and so did everybody behind Santi Tires. The entire field was side by side, still almost in their formation lap phase, going into turn 1. Going into turn 1 after that restart. But Vrabel right now, I think, playing it safe, realizing that these tires are extremely beat up and worn out, as we're now 2 wide here. That's Tim Robb in the 5. We are checking 6th position. Andrew Williams in that 7th position. The fight right there between him and the 07 of Halterman for that position. And it looks like Williams is going to make out with that one and that position as well. And we have another caution.
Ding, ding, ding. And new CiL record 16. Caution of the night.
Did not have that one on my bingo card for tonight.
I didn't have a CiL record. But I figured we could see a little bit. Not that much. It looks like here we got some of the Penn Tech guys in front of us. I don't know if that's what the caution is for. Let's take a look. Oh, the Penn Tech guys take each other out. Godinez and Stidor make contact into 3, although they kept it forward.
Maybe.
They almost kept it.
Almost kept it straight, but they did keep it out of the wall, which is what matters.
They did. Yeah, the car is intact, but that is, I believe that's the 3rd time we've seen that 46 around in some capacity. I know he had a couple of incidents early on in this race, but have been relatively quiet since. But on board here with the 808 of Dylan Godinez, he looked to the inside and just He's got a whole lot of fender of the 46 of Michael Sidor.
Yeah, night to forget here for the Penn Tech cars, as the 808 has been determined to be at fault right there for that incident. It doesn't seem like those Penn Tech cars can get out of that middle back of the field where the danger zone is on these restarts to keep it clean and out of trouble. So
Only
just unfortunate for all of them.
Yeah, it really is. Only 3 cars, though, marked as out of this race at the moment. Ethan Head, Dustin Buck, and Jaden Kimball. So still a number of cars who will probably be on track with this thing in groups. But going back to that little bit of a run we had, Robbie Vrabel had an absolutely great battle there up at the front with Santi Perez. Took the lead for a moment. Perez was able to wrestle it back. They were really going at it for a second there. If I'm Santi Perez, I'm sitting there thinking, how can I get back that least magic that I'm doing so well with tonight? Because one time he let up on a quality start. Vrabel nearly snatched the whip.
And once again, that will officially confirm that this race will finish on time and not lap count. We are now about 3 minutes to the bad side right there.
Yeah, it's definitely disappointing. But with the way this race has gone, you can't say it's a shocker given the amount of times it's been very start and stop.
You got any plans for Valentine's Day tomorrow?
I would, actually, but my lovely girlfriend Sylvia is down in Florida, and I'm up in Pittsburgh. We are doing a bit of long distance at the moment, so if she's watching, shout out to my lovely girlfriend Sylvia, but we'll probably do a little bit of FaceTime tomorrow, but that's probably about it. We celebrated last week when she was in town for the weekend, so
smart.
Nothing too crazy there. How about you there, buddy?
I got a hot date with the Ferrari F1 car reveal.
Hey, there you go. That's pretty spicy. That's pretty passionate.
That's the that's the best way I could spend my Valentine's Day. Single eligible bachelor.
Well, now the new mission here under each caution, we just got to start throwing out bachelorette style profiles for you here. See if we can find you a hit here for tomorrow. But
if they make Tinder for sim racers.
If it is, almost exclusively who's going to be on it.
Oh, definitely. Good.
Pace
good
car's
point.
off. But yeah, pace car's off. We are going green. Perez with a great launch there, back to his old ways of the good restarts. And Vrabel's going to have to settle in from behind for second as they charge back into third one with just half an hour left in this event.
Yeah, and there you can see the lap count cycling between the timer at the top of the screen, and we have another caution at the back of the field. I think I see Rhett Crane, the number 6, against the wall right there.
I'm starting to wonder if with every caution we should just try a different style of commentary, like 20s baseball or like pro wrestling, just like mix it up, get a little loose with it in the booth.
Oh my gosh, it's Jared Kaler with a steel chair.
That's what I'm thinking, man. I mean, they got mixed up a little bit. It looks like just a bit of bumper cars, little cue ball action. Rhett Crane stuck in the wrong spot, ends up keeping it forward, but impeding enough progress of cars around them that I get messing more into the yellow. Definitely one of the, in all sense of the word, probably should be a caution. As far as the caution we've seen, definitely one of the weaker ones up across.
Yeah, and all of our cautions are thrown by iRacing, and there's a lot of different factors determined, and I believe the factor right there was Rhett Crane was considered slow on track going through the racing line right there. But it looks like everybody was able to make it through relatively clean. I'm not sure who that was that almost hit the 6, but could not have been more than a few inches off the front bumper of the 6 as he got sideways there, coming back down the track, keeping it locked down.
Break for Rhett Crane, too. I mean, he was having a really solid run. I mean, we saw him a number of times up in the top 10 throughout this event. But I guess it's not meant to be at the moment unless he has I mean, there's plenty of time left in the clock to kind of work the way forward against. He's got the speed, but certainly a lot of cars between him and where he wants to be right about now. I'm kind of sitting here, Zach, and I don't want to say I'm at a loss for words. Because I still
want
have
to
plenty
say that
of
I am.
I think it's more. I'm more of just trying to figure out what the next thing to talk about this event has been, because it's been one overarching narrative of, can they run like 5 laps in a row without something happening? And most cases, it's been no. And the worst part is, like, every race before this has been relatively clean in respect. I mean, there's been some cautions, but like, there's been extended runs in Daytona. There was an extended run at Auto Club, an extended run at Kansas. Richmond, though, has not been the case.
Race control has come out and said that from here on out, restarts will be forced to single file. So we're going throwback to 90s NASCAR here, single file restarts. Hopefully that will help clean up some of the racing a little bit so we can get a nice green flag run. And we had a really good green flag run about halfway through the broadcast here, where we saw a lot of positions being traded back and forth, some great racing, even the consideration of green flag pit stops. So hopefully this single file restart will help the back of the pack and the middle of the pack clean it up. But if you're at the front of the pack, you got to be thinking, man, that takes away such a big advantage for me to try to get around try and get around the guy up in front of me for that position that I want.
Yeah, from an officiating standpoint, I 100% agree with that call. I think it's a great idea to try and get some of these restarts cleaned up a little bit. But if there's one person who I'm sure is screaming into the void right about now, it's got to be Robbie Vrabel. I mean, he's been on the outside and just almost there so many times. And now he's going to be stuck starting behind Santi Perez as opposed to alongside him. Which just means the distance to cover is going to be that much greater.
It's going to be really hard to see when the lights on the. Oh, actually, we are going green right here. I was about to say it's going to be really hard to see when we're about to go green, because the field is not stacked up 2 by 2 this time as Tierez approaches the restart zone, gets a great restart right there, and we're back to racing here at Richmond.
Single file through 1 and 2. Starting to bunch up a little bit there coming off of 2, but not too many. So far, dare I say, everything looks okay for the moment, as Therese will come across the line here to lead with 26 minutes remaining in session. Right now it is Therese, Vrabel, Toomey, and Muhammad Ali in the top 4. That has been the top 4 for most of the evening. Continues to be the case here. Jared Kaler rounds out your 5 as well.
I'm watching this battle between the 76 of Wallet and the 14 of Levy here. This is for, I believe, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th position. Our battle inside the only battle inside the top 10 right now. Everybody else is single file, but Jason Wallet still holding on to that outside, trying to go around the 14 of Connor Levy, or I believe he's defending the position as now he loses out by a bumper, but gains it back, gets a nice run down the back straightaway. So we're going to keep an eye on these two here as this battle unfolds, still side by side. Really, ever since the restart, Jason Wallet got another great restart, able to game it just right. And I think there's another one of our big storylines of the night is just how much of a restart masterclass that 76 Drexel machine has put on tonight. Is a little loose out of turn 2 right there.
Real loose. Keeps it forward. No caution, hopefully. Yeah, no caution. Colin Colpa, though, really sideways coming off the 2. Lucky that didn't collect the inside wall of the backstretch. Now trying to hold on to his position here against Nick Stockman, but definitely lost out on a few positions there.
I think I see where he may have hit that inside wall. That left front is
he's losing again.
Is not happy. And I think something broke on that car. He could not get it. Collects the 6 of Rhett Crane. Nowhere to go.
You could tell he was being a little ginger with it in the 1 and 2. He may have suspected that the car wasn't handling quite right, and then coming out of 2, something went wrong. I don't know if he just over-revved the engine or something broke or what, but that car, very displeased coming out of the corner, goes sideways, and then heavy contact between the 006 and the 6 car Rain. On board here with the 006 of Colin Colpa. You can
the
see him
124 of
really
Stockner.
tall in the wheel, and then he just overcorrects it a little bit, trying to catch it, spins it around, and then as he's backpedaling, just nowhere for Rhett Crane to go, and he'll also be involved in that. It's lucky for 6 not to get any of that action as well.
Yeah, what a miss right there by the Minnesota State Mankato machine. Ryan Wilson just barely keeps it off the front bumper of the 006 right there. As Thomas Toomey comes to pit road. And I think he is the only car in the top 10 to come down pit road. He may have picked up some damage from something maybe. I'm not sure what happened there. It looks like he reset his car.
Yeah, I was about to say, it didn't even look like he rolled down pit road. He might have gotten tow or gotten out of the car or something. Not entirely sure what's up, but that will advance Herman Relief into the top 3 now. The current podium is Therese, Vrabel, and Alif. We'll have to see what happened there, hopefully to Toomey, as we see Colin Kolpa rolling down to try and get his damage repaired.
Just under 20 minutes remaining on the clock, and just under 50 laps to go as well. Here's the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like he just got loose off of turn 2, and he smacked the inside wall pretty good. And it looks like that might have broken the suspension there on that left front of the 06.
You can see that car shaking through 3 and 4.
Yeah.
He definitely didn't want to get around. And that's why he was so ginger and so much seesawing of the wheel through 1 and 2. And the car just kind of gave up on him.
You can see there it just snaps on him, that broken suspension, and he goes around a perfect 180 down the backstretch and nowhere to go for the 6.
Yeah, 10 out of 10 impact there for Rhett Crane. He had nowhere to go and just kind of collects all of the 006 there. So as they're kind of re-racking the field here, Zach, what do you think some of these guys around second herd like Alif or Vrabel need to do now with a single file restart to try and get by Santi Therese? I mean, it was really hard to do on the double wide restarts, and single file is going to be that much tougher at him.
You know, I'm definitely thinking you don't have a lot of time left. You got the single file restarts, so it's only going to make your job a lot harder to try and get around the drivers up in front of you. You've really got to have your A game on for these restarts. There, I believe the lights on the pace car just went off, so that is the 1 to go signal. We will go green next time by.
Thomas Toomey just got listed as out on the scoring table, so whatever happened, I think he might be out of the race.
That is not good at all.
Yeah, hoping for the best there. Not sure what happened. He was running third. He had been in the podium positions for basically the entire event. And now here in the closing minutes, not in contention for it now, so hopefully everything's okay. But either way, Therese is about to let it rip here for, I believe, the 18th or 19th time on the restart here today.
Green, green, green.
And there they are off once again. Barney waves the green, back to racing here at Richmond. Single file into turn 1. Going to try and get some racing here. You can see the timer on the left-hand side of your screen. I believe that is the first time we have seen a timed race here in the College Cup Series, as we're just about to cross the 20 minutes remaining mark. Single file the leaders right now. Yep.
Sure. But yeah, no, definitely not necessarily the way you want to end the race, but the way the race is definitely going to end. As right now, Vrabel still hanging pretty tight to the back of Santi Therese, trying to find a way to get by him. But right now, he's about a car length and a half behind, and not necessarily flying up to the back of him. Once again, we see that 76 car at Drexel out of the corner of the camera. Jason Wallet, once again to the outside of Connor Levy. That seems to be where we found him a lot these past couple restarts, on the outside of the 14, trying to make the move.
Here comes the 14 looking underneath the 76. Picking up this battle right where they left off before this caution came out, but this time it's the other way. The 76 was inside of the 14 last time, so we're going to see how this battle picks up. The 76 loses out on that position by a bumper, and the 14 is going to get really nice rotation through the center and leave Wallet just behind him. But Wall is going to mount a counterattack here on Connor Levy through turns 3 and 4 at that time, and it looks like might be a little bit slow. So maybe some of the age on these tires and all these restarts piled on these rear tires showing their age. As we now look, Drew Williams has worked his way back up. We are checking. He is in the top 5. He's back into the top 5 after being involved in that wreck at the very beginning of the race. So good to see.
Oh yeah,
Williams
he was
back
part of that first one.
Yeah, he was a part of caution number 1. So good to see him back inside the top 5 battling yet again, and followed very closely behind by the 07 of Clint Halterman, who I believe was also involved in that wreck.
I believe you might be right. As right now we're taking a look at Zach DeWale under pressure from Tim Robb, and Austin DeLong starting to drive away from him. The 5 car trying to find a way by the 02. We looked on the inside through 3 and 4, thought about going back out. Now we're looking back to the inside. That 02 doesn't seem to be cornering as well as DeWale would like it to be right about now, as Tim Robb keeps poking a nose to the inside, trying to find a little bit of room to work with. Nothing there just yet, as DeWale's running about half a lane off the bottom, but Tim Robb, that's not going to stop him from looking to the inside here, trying to find a way around. Now looking to the outside, as DeWale nearly gets the nose chopped off by Austin DeLong, who throws a nice block to hold on to the position there. Definitely a good bit of battling here between these 3 cars in the middle of the pack. Tim Robb now on the outside, trying to find his way around. Nothing going there. He'll fall back in line. 17 minutes remaining in this race, as DeWale and Robb now side by side. Robb has the inside that he wanted from a couple laps to go, and now he's trying to make the move, as the 22 car of Austin DeLong kind of holding up the both of them here as they try to make the move.
Robb and DeWale still fighting it out here side by side for the last couple laps or so. Doesn't look like any car is willing to gain or give an inch, as the 5 breaks really deep into the corner right there. Had to check up because the 22 brakes pretty hard as well to try and avoid the 61 of Athena Leclerc up in front of him. And it looks like the 22 is now going to stay in this battle, as these cars are once again side by side for yet another lap. This time Tim Robb has the advantage on the inside of Zach DeWale. Going to try to outbrake DeWale. Washes up in the center a little bit, maybe a little too much right there. Great clean racing from these 2 drivers right now, as DeWale is going to reassume that position by a bumper down the back straightaway. Still side by side here into turn 3, as now you can see the rest of the field looking on and closing in just a hair. If you're single file, you're going to run a lot faster than if you were 2 wide. And it looks like DeWale had the 5 cleared for about a half a second right there coming into the corner, but the 5 once again better on the brakes into turn 1. He has proven time and time again over the past couple laps that he's much better. He washes up in the corner again. Just as I said, he was better on the brakes. That happens. Commentator's curse. Sorry, Tim. Sorry, Zach.
He is running those brakes really hard right now, staying on that inside. He keeps trying to force the move to the inside. This is the battle for 13th as it stands between DeWale and Tim Robb. Tim Robb finally conceding the battle for now, falling back in line. Probably trying to give his tires an opportunity to cool down a little bit, because he was really trying to outbrake DeWale deep into those corners.
And trouble. Andrew Miller in around on the back stretch into turn 3. Or excuse me, Andrew McCall. Sorry.
Nordberg appears to be calling it as well, and I do believe... Oh, Nordberg's already down pit lane. But I do believe, if memory serves me correct, that might be lucky number 20 there, Zach.
I think we have hit caution number 20 of the night.
No,
Sorry,
19.
Oh, boo.
Not there yet.
Boo.
Couldn't quite count, like we talked about earlier. Not necessarily meant to get
Going to look at that Purdue machine here coming into turn 1. We're going to see what happens, and it looks like might have gotten a little loose. Yeah, just got loose coming off the corner, overcorrected it into the wall, and Matt Nordberg involved in that one. Once again, that 076 involved in an incident, and I believe he has taken that car behind the wall to the garage. So Matt Nordberg and NC State out of this race.
Tough break for him. The couple of wrecks that he's been involved in weren't really anything his doing, just being in the wrong place at the wrong time. But that can happen in this sport much more than I feel like any other sport. You know, you can do everything right, and then someone around you that doesn't do it the way they need to, and it can cost you quite a bit. quite a bit of money.
That's why we have the faster pairs, just in case you get caught up in someone else's incident. For instances like this where it wasn't really in your control, but obviously Nordberg had already used his faster pair from a previous incident. Colin Copel with good hands right there to get around it. He's going to keep it straight and avoid the spinning Purdue machine. But Matt Nordberg, like we said, has taken the car behind the wall. He is retired from this race.
And I do believe that puts us pretty close to a double-digit amount of cars that are officially out of this race now. At least a number of laps down who might be just kind of hanging around the back trying to nurse this thing home to the end. I'm not entirely sure how many lap, but I want to say it's probably in the high 20s.
I believe I'm seeing 8 cars currently out of the race. Nordberg, Yoder, Crane, Toomey, Godinez, Head, Buck, and Kimball.
So, yeah, with 8 out and another several, probably a couple of laps down, probably around 25-ish, 26 is probably still on the lead lap here, fighting for an opportunity to try and get toward the front. I would say to go for the win, but really the people going for the win has been anyone in like the top 3 and then Santi Therese, because he has been the man to beat here this evening. And so far, outside of 1 lap under caution and 1 lap during a restart, he has not been beaten. It's been I'd say it's been a dominating effort, but honestly, I feel like his work at Kansas last week has been a bit more impressive because most of this has just been restart control. He hasn't really had to like manage things over a long run. Not to say that leading every lap with several isn't impressive, but it's been done in so many short little chunks where it's hard for anyone to really establish a run behind him.
Yeah, it always seems like once per season in the College Cup Series, we have one of these eye-pacing races. Last season it was Darlington. This season it's going to be Richmond. A couple seasons ago it was that North Wilkesboro race that was formerly the holder of most cautions in one CIL session. But I think this one's going to be very hard to beat from here on out.
I hope this is a record that's like Gretzky's point total in the NHL. I hope this one is just simply untouchable. When this gets going again, there's probably going to... Oh, the lights are off on the pacer, so we are going to get going again in just a moment here. But there's probably going to be, what, about 12, 13, or maybe like 15 minutes left on the timer, roughly?
Yeah, I'm looking at inside 10 minutes now, 1:52 on the clock, so just over 7 minutes remaining in this race.
Right, yes, that says 53, not 43. That I can...
Green's out. Green flag. Green flag.
Green out once again here at Richmond. 10 minutes and change on the clock for Robbie Vrabel Jr. to become, or excuse me, Santi Therese to become the first double win driver of the season. Robbie Vrabel Jr. trying to fix that for himself, as well as our Muhammad Alif, you see in that 3rd position, trying to secure his spot on top of the podium for the first time this season and lock himself into the College Cup Series playoffs. As we got a bit of a stack up off of turn 4, that's Esteban Munoz around, and we'll go under caution once again. And this might be it.
It's a rough break. We'll have to see the replay. I don't really know what else to say at this point, Zach, other than, you know, it might be time for everybody to call it a night. As the 9 around gets contact with the 5. Let's see where this begins. Oh, this begins way back behind the 9. And it looks like it's the 14 of Connor Levy diving in. Contact made, then collects Miller in, and they slide up the track. Munoz nowhere to go. Tim Robb hits him. Stockner gets a little bit of that. And has to scramble.
How about that miss from the 76 of Jason Wallet? Just stuck it down on the inside and drove around everyone right there. That was a gutsy move.
It was, absolutely. That'd be a fun in-car camera to watch if we have an opportunity to do so. There we go, on board with the 76 here of Jason Wallet, the Daytona 250 winner. So as I believe this is this corner as they charge down to 3 and 4. Oh, we're on board with Munoz here as he went for a ride.
Oh, he almost kept it straight. I think he was. He kept it straight right there, and then I think he got dinged again because I saw him sideways on the front stretch when we cut to the wreck.
That's happened to Esteban, I think, a couple times tonight, where he's made a pretty good save to keep it forward, and then a second bit of contact is what actually sends him. But yeah, definitely impressive stuff there from Jason's wallet, not to get collected in any of that was happening directly in front of him. As the timer now down into single digits, Therese still easily the one to beat here, as Robbie Vrabel Jr. trying to warm up the tires nearly wiped out Andrew McCall.
That could have been bad.
That could have been really bad. But about 8-ish minutes left on the timer. It'll probably be closer to 7 when this officially goes live once again.
An update on Thomas Toomey. He has other commitments that he had to make and had to leave the race because it was getting late. So
I see. Well, glad it's not for anything too crazy.
Yeah, glad to hear that everything's all right and it wasn't like a power outage or a hurricane or anything.
So it is UNC Charlotte, St. Clair College, and Ball State, your top 3 as it stands. Also, Clemson, Drexel, Penn College of Technology, and Purdue represented inside the top 10. A couple of different schools up there. And it's just been it's been a roller coaster, I feel like, for a lot of these guys who have been anywhere from, say, 8th on back, where it's just been you never know what could happen, and especially if you're back in like the 20th range. There's cars spinning out ahead of you, there's cars spinning out behind you, there's cars spinning out next to you. Like it's a matter of survival out there if you're in the mid pack right about now.
And 6 minutes left on the clock, give or take. So this will be a shootout for the win right here between these top 3 drivers, Therese, Vrabel, Alif. Kaler and Williams may have something to say just yet, depending on how well they can get off on the restart right here. But I believe if lights on the pace car are out, this is the one to go signal for hopefully the last restart in this complete and utter war of attrition here in the CiL. And I'm still at a loss for words about what's happened tonight.
Yeah, it's dare I say, I don't even know. I'm also at a loss for. I was going to say, dare I say, like, unbelievable, but we've seen it happen in front of our eyes. I mean, they say seeing it is part of believing it. Still working on the believing part, but we'll see what happens here in the final few minutes here. It's Therese and Vrabel going 1-2 as they hit the green flag for the, I believe, 21st time tonight, and they will charge into turn number 1 with south of 6 minutes left in this race.
5:45 left to go on the clock. Single file right now for the time being. We're going to see if anybody up here in this top 3 makes a lunge, maybe a late race race-winning move, but still single file and a pretty good gap between these drivers up top. This might be a walk in the park here for Santi, though. He didn't really come under much challenge due to the lack of green flag racing during this race. But Robbie Vrabel still determined, going to stare down that bumper of the 117 from UNC Charlotte, see what he can put together to maybe steal the win from a performance from Santi Therese, where he's led every single lap in this race but one.
Yeah, if Vrabel finds a way in the last 5 minutes here to get by him, that would be an absolute highway robbery of a victory, given how dominant Therese has been all weekend long. Still within striking distance, especially if Therese makes a bit of a mistake. He's not known for making many of them. And the caution's out once again. The 006 in the wall in the backstretch.
And I believe that will do it. With this caution, I think the timer will run out. You can see a stack up there on the backstretch. It looked like some 3 wide at the back of the field. Two St. Clair cars racing side by side. That's Hogarth and Athena Leclerc. This is going down the front straightaway. Andrew Burrell from Clemson University to the outside right there. Colin Kolpa, Indiana University, that 006 on the low side. We're going to see what happened here. And it looks like Athena Leclerc may have given him a little help coming out of turn 2 right there.
Looks like the 61 gave him a bit of a push right as the 06 was trying to find a way not to get into the back of the 888. and just goes for a bit of a ride there is Colin Coppola. His night has progressively gone from bad to worse, and it's been a rough one for the alumni here at the University of Indiana. Bit of another part of it, once again, happening directly in front of the 521 of Brad Daniels. I'm sure he's had a couple of fun reports tonight. We already saw the one. I'm sure that one was also quite entertaining. But definitely for Colin Coppola, just you really do hate to see it. I mean, he's just the past, say, I don't know, 20 minutes has just been anything but what he would have wanted.
I feel like I have a responsibility as an administrator of the CIL to say that what we've seen tonight is not indicative of what we typically see in our CIL College Cup Series races. This is obviously an exception. I'm at a record-setting exception, and not in the good way. So
No.
I know for a fact that the other league administrators and myself are going to convene probably sometime tomorrow to potentially introduce some new rules to the College Cup Series to prevent this from happening again. But we are disappointed with what we've seen tonight. Yeah, and it can only get better from here. So
that is true. Well, speaking of getting better from here, remind me again, I don't know if I'm ahead. What is the upcoming race we've got? It's the short track series coming up next after this.
Yes. Actually,
Green
the
flag.
caution has been shortened. We're going green flag, actually, so that was not the end of the race. The admins have
2
shortened
minutes
the
to go.
caution to try and get some green flag racing. You can see 2 minutes left on the clock. But yeah, the CIL will return to action on Wednesday night with our short track student short track showdown. That is where that's a very exciting series, brand new for this season, where it's a student only series, shorter races, smaller fields. The return of the last chance qualifier in the super late models, and we'll be at Lanier Raceway on Wednesday night. That race last week or 2 weeks ago, at USA International was a lot of fun, and we cannot wait to do that again. But for now, we've got the end of this race to focus on. The 117, Santi Tires, in his second race this season, looks to make it 2 for 2. But Robbie Vrabel Jr. also trying to make it 2 for 2 as we have another caution. We are not done yet, folks. I believe that was the 22 of Austin DeLong back around, and I think this will be the end of the race.
Penn College of Technology, I think the three of them have combined for being the car we jumped to during a caution, I think 7 different times. Sidor, I know, has been 3. DeLong, this is his second. Just a little bit of contact there between Wiest and DeLong, but they both kept it forward, so that definitely wasn't the incident. Wiest sliding up the track and getting a whole lot of the 22, that'll definitely do it though, and then tagged by the 5 to turn them around. Penn College Technologies just had an absolutely brutal night here at Richmond Raceway. Martinez, DeLong, and Sidor all just not having a great time out here tonight. Yeah, Wiest just drove it in a little too deep, slides up into the 22, and then as the 22 is trying to save it, gets contact from the 5, and that'll flip the 22 car of Penn College Technology around. And technically, there's only 6 laps to go, but we will hit the end of the timer before that, so I don't think there's any sort of green-white checker for the timer. Am I right, Zach? I think it's just going to end on their caution.
I believe it will just end the race. Sorry, repeat that, producer Josh.
Yep.
It ends.
So this
All right,
will
confirmed.
be coming to a close here when the timer hits 0 in about a minute. So I guess it's time to basically announce that Santi Tires goes 2 for 2 and will pick up the victory here at Richmond Raceway under caution.
Yep, Santi Tires with an absolutely perfect drive for the cards that he was dealt with this caution-filled race. He nailed the restarts exactly like he should. He kept that 075 machine of Robbie Vrabel Jr. behind him the entire time, pretty much, except for one lap in this race where he came down pit road and lost the lead on one lap and promptly reassumed it. And yep, I believe right there, race control has ended the race. We are official. Santiago Tires goes 2 for 2 this season, and he becomes the first two-time winner this season and will promptly secure his position on top of the College Cup Series playoff grid.
So congratulations to Santi Therese. Solid effort as well from Robbie Brable Jr. I mean, he did pick up the win at Auto Club, and he was in contention a good bit of the night. He had an opportunity. I couldn't tell you which restart it was. Somewhere around a little after lap 100, I want to say, where he did take a lap from Santi Therese. He was side by side for a number of laps, just wasn't able to complete the pass, and he ends up having to settle here for second tonight. But still, a very good points day. And I believe it is R. Muhammad Ali who rounds out the podium. So it'll be R. Muhammad Ali, the highest finishing student driver in the field today. He'll take home third place ahead of Jared Taylor and Ali. Perez a bit of a bump as they're going to go celebrate. Kaler and Williams, though, they do round out the top five, and looks like Alif's going to burn it down as well, I guess, for getting the student win.
That is correct. Even though Santi Tires secured the overall race win, Alif was the highest finishing student. So he will secure the points in the student championship for the win, but that does not lock him into the playoffs since he was not the overall winner. So congratulations to R. Muhammad Ali for being the highest finishing student and taking that win. And also congratulations to Santiago Tires on his overall and alumni class win as well.
Absolutely. So in a minute here, we will be talking to some of the podium finishers whenever they get out of their car, take the helmets off, and they'll hop in to chat with us for a minute or two. But while we wait for that, Zach, a whole lot of thoughts on this race, and yet a whole lack of things to say is the way I'm going to describe it. Is that I have a lot of things running through my head, but I just don't know how to translate them into words at the moment. A lot of just absolutely wild.
Yep, a whole lot of everything happened, but still a whole lot of nothing to talk about. I'm at a loss for words is the best way to put it.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And, you know, it's one of those things where it's been, considering how the racing was at Daytona, at Auto Club, and at Kansas, this feels... it feels like a far cry from how some of those races went with the exciting finishes that we had in some of those previous races. So hopefully we can get back to that next week when the CiL Cup Series returns Monday at 9. But right now it does look like we do have someone. All right, now they're starting to jump into the booth here. I see
here
a
we
couple
go.
of folks. So we'll be able to talk to them in just a moment here as they are joining in for what will be our post-race interview.
And how about let's go ahead and talk to our runner-up finisher tonight. Robbie, do you got a copy?
I do.
Hey, man, it's great to see you back in the booth. Well, you survived that war of attrition and you brought it home second. Although not a whole lot of work to do, we're going to keep this interview short because we know you got to get to bed. But take us through that race. What out of the little action that you were able to get, what was it like out there on the track?
Well, my bedtime's not till 4 in the morning. I'll be up to hang out with you guys all night.
Oh, wow.
Honestly, it's painful. I mean, there's no way around it. I feel bad for you guys. It's unbelievable that you guys were able to stick around and deal with that. I mean, for me, I think I started 5th or whatever. So, like, I still had some work to do. I was able to do most of it early. I didn't have anything for Santiago. Once they made it single file restarts, I knew that was it. Realistically, I was just working on restarts. You know, he's so good. He's a former Coke Series driver. I've got a lot of respect for him. So to be able to be on the front row, which is usually a huge disadvantage for anybody, I was able to, you know, I don't want to say get in his head, but I was able to, you know, time him up a couple times and at least make it look good, or, you know, keep my position to where I knew he was going to get in front of me, but I still had room to get down because of the jump that we had. I know some people might think that he may have been giving me a countdown with how close those restarts were, but I can promise you he wasn't. That was just all I could really take away from it was just working on it. We only pitted once. You know, we We pitted once. I don't even know what point in the race, but we pitted once, took tires, and that was it. So it's tough. I know that these guys will come up with an idea to fix this. It is unfortunate. I don't know where the wrecks were. There's really not a whole lot to pay attention to in that regard. But at the end of the day, there's always something to work on. And when we're this competitive, even though the race isn't going like you plan, there's still things that you can work on as a driver. So I was just trying to make the most of that today.
To your point, the wrecks were everywhere. They were at the front, they were at the back, they were all through the mid pack. It didn't matter where you looked, it was usually somewhere. But Robbie, again, congrats on finishing P2 here tonight. The one question I wanted to ask you, around the, I want to say it was lap 100, 110 mark, somewhere right before we switched over to the time, you had one of those restarts when it was still 2x2, and you actually were hanging on the outside of them for a couple laps. It was a good battle there. Was there anything else that you could have done, you think, to actually get around them, or was that just kind of the nature of you pushed it as hard as you could in that moment, but there wasn't a whole lot of room to work with?
No, that's a great question. There was more that I could have done. I was not using fifth gear, and I know that they were because when I was chipping, I could see them pulling, a car length, 2 car lengths away. I knew that. I just wasn't as comfortable shifting into fifth and then having to go back to fourth so fast. It just wasn't comfortable for me. So I was just running in fourth the whole time. There was a couple times when I was outside of Santiago where I did grab fifth. The one corner, I was ahead of them going into one, and I was in fifth, and I couldn't get it to. I missed the shift, essentially. And without being able to use the engine to slow me down, I kind of pushed up, and that gave it back to him. But on a lighter note, when I did lead the first lap, I was doing the old Ken Schrader money sign, even though we're in our homes and I can't stick my finger out the window. Literally, I did take it off and do that because I knew he was going to pass me back, but it was all in good fun. Like I said, I have a lot of respect for Santiago. I enjoy racing with him. I learn something new every time I'm with him. So it was cool. At least I could say he didn't lead every lap. I was able to do something with it, and that put a smile on my face. So.
Oh, well, there you go. I mean, hey, at least there's something to take away from it. Real quick, anyone you want to shout out here from your P2 effort here tonight?
Yeah, I think you guys deserve a huge round of applause. I mean, that's tough for anybody to go through, especially you guys watching, trying to keep everybody entertained. You guys deserve a huge appreciation for going through that. And then on a personal level, Dan Banners at St. Clair College for allowing me to do this and organizing it for the rest of the St. Clair Esports Academy people to come out here and participate as well. Everybody at CiL for doing this. I know it looked bad, but it will be better. They've had way better. I'm confident that the next race will be good. And then everybody at Lockdown Racing, McConey Setup Shops for everything that they do for me. MPI, Sparko, Rise Esports. That's all I got. You guys deserve a huge round of applause, though, man. That was not easy for us. I can't imagine what it was like for you.
Well, thanks for joining us, Robbie. Congrats again on P2, and thank you for the shout out, and we'll hope to see you next week.
Anytime. You guys have a great night.
You too.
That was Robbie Vrabel Jr., your runner-up finisher tonight after this war of attrition. But for now, we are going to talk to our overall third-place finisher and student class winner from Ball State University, Muhammad Alif. Alif, you got a copy, man?
Yep, I can hear you.
Well, good evening to you. No, we're getting into CiL after hours, but we saw you have that surge kind of towards the middle of the race that got you into that third place position. Saw a pass of 2 cars 3 wide around the outside on a restart that was absolutely ridiculous. So great racecraft displayed all night from you as per usual. So in the green flag runs that we did have, take us through what it was like there on track.
I think just seeing how many cautions there was, I think it was just all about respect with the front runners. I think me and Thomas had great respect. We left each other enough room. We weren't like doing anything stupid. I think that's what really got us. Just that front running group was just always there. But yeah, I mean, it was tight, with I was just playing around with the brake bias, trying to find out what balance was right for the car, and then thankfully by the end, yeah, we made it.
Well, congratulations again on your sensational effort up to P3. I do have a quick question for you while you are here. So you had a pretty good run going. getting up to P3 there. Did it affect kind of your approach to the race at all when they changed it from double wide to single file restarts? I know that makes it a little tougher as far as starting farther back from the leader. I don't know. Do you feel like you had anything for the front two, or is third about where that car was going to be tonight?
I mean, it made things easier, to be honest. I mean, I know the front two guys are alumni, so I was not gonna attack them. I was trying to race smart, and I think it paid off definitely. I mean, if I tried to attack them, I mean, the guys behind me would have caught me up because the tires would have been gone. So it made things easier because I could still see the leader, Santi, who was right in front, so I could see when he was making the jump. So yeah, it kind of just made things easier.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a great point there. I mean, you already have the student division lead at that point. May as well hold on to it and bring it home a solid P3. Anyone you'd like to shout out here before we wrap for the evening?
Oh yeah, my whole Ball State Esports team, Red and Caden. I know they had a slightly less fortunate ending to their race, but I think it was a whole team effort. You know, the amount of time that we've put in so far, it's really starting to show. And yeah, I mean, next up are the other two front runners. You know, Santi, has been tremendous. I mean, I've been learning so much just watching him from the back for the past races. So that's the target up next. But yeah, let's see.
All right, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Congrats again on your P3 finish, making the podium and the student division win. That was third place finisher R. Muhammad Alif, which means I do believe it's time to bring in our race winner from tonight here at Richmond, Santiago Torres. Welcome back to the post-race interview. Going 2 for 2 so far this season. How's it feel to pick up the second win in a row here in what was a very choppy race, to say the least?
Yeah, I mean, win always feels good. Obviously, it's unfortunate we had all the yellows, but sometimes this track has a history to do that in an official and road to everything I've ever ran. It's I've had races where it's exactly like this, so I'm not too surprised. But it was still a fun race racing Robbie, and everybody up there. We were able to get some green flag runs, so pretty happy with the win though for sure.
Yeah, congratulations on going 2 for 2 so far this season, Santi. Once again, great to have you back in the CIL racing with us again, and it looks like you're making pretty quick work of the field. You do stand alone atop the College Cup Series playoffs right now after Week 4 as the only multi-win driver this season. So I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked the other two guys when we did have some green flag racing. What was it like being up there at the front? We saw you get those incredible restarts and pull away from the field behind, but maybe come under fire from P2 a couple of times during the race.
Yeah, I mean, the restart box was pretty small, so it was pretty easy to, or I wouldn't say easy, but I felt there was a couple times where Robbie was able to time it just right and stay on my outside, and it was pretty fun. We raced side by side for a couple laps there, and then I think he drove it a little bit too hard into turn one, just missed the corner, and on it we could have been side by side for 10 laps, and who knows what would happen there, but it was fun. Yeah, just trying to get the restarts right, not spinning your tires, stuff like that was really critical. I was trying to change it up, but it was pretty hard too, like I said, because the box is pretty small. So yeah, just did what we could there.
Well, congratulations again, Santi. Another win in dominant fashion this time, although you didn't really have to do much work, but still worth all the merit in the world keeping your car out in front for every single lap but one that race. So before we let you go, is there anybody you want to shout out this evening?
Yeah, I'd like to shout out to you guys for sitting in here and dealing with all the craziness, and thanks to CIL, and check out Makoni Setup Shop if you want any Xfinity car setups.
Yeah, congratulations on your win again, Santi. Hope to see you back up in the booth again.
Thank you, guys.
Well, after
that
all
is
that,
that's our podium.
yeah.
That's I feel
Man,
like I should have more words because I mean those are the three guys who kind of kept it up front basically all night. But more or less, I think given the fact that it is nearing 11:30 here on the Eastern Seaboard, it's probably time to do our full race teardown, preview what's next, and then probably call the night here.
Yeah, although the racing that we did get to see on track during Green Flag was really good. Lots of battles up and down inside the top 10, inside the top 20, and even further on back. But unfortunately, Racecraft got the better hold of a lot of people there, and we saw a war of attrition right there. So I believe that is going to wrap it up for us this evening from the CiL booth. Congratulations again to Santiago Tires of UNC Charlotte, who now secures the top spot in the College Cup Series playoffs for the first time with his 2 wins this season. But there are still 6 more races to go in the regular season, including one of our wild card races coming up next week, where we go road racing for the first time at Watkins Glen International. So you should see plenty of familiar and maybe some new names racing up front. So be sure you don't miss that. Same time next Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. And if you can't get enough CiL content, like we mentioned earlier, our Student Short Track Showdown goes to Lanier Speedway in the heart of Georgia for round 2 of that fast-paced, thrilling series. So be sure you don't miss any of that action this Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. And so from all of us at the Collegiate iRacing League, myself, co-commentator Alex, and producer Josh, we want to thank you for tuning in to tonight's broadcast of the Richmond 150, and thank you for staying with us until the end. And until next time, stay fast.